Here, you want this? Here, take this. You want that? Oh. Let me take this off. There you go. Put on.
I'm done.
Let me see. There you go. And there you go, folks. Okay. Looks like we are rocking literally just straight acoustics today, fam. Oh man. It should be an eventful day. I will say that. Yeah, man. Yeah, there is there's a lot to get to today. I was shocked when I saw everything going down today. I mean, it was interesting because, you know, once I started getting pinged up the wazoo. People were just sliding into the DMs left and right, and you know, I didn't really have kind of a general idea on what was happening, obviously, until everything kind of started breaking. But I mean, man, talk about an unexpected day of an unexpected, joyous filled day for some, and just how everything ended up turning out. I mean, just absolutely nuts. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I for one, excuse me, I'm actually excited to be able to go through the Diplo chats. I know, you know, Guns was streaming this earlier, so you know, we're gonna go through just the screens that he showed. We're gonna do that. Possibly, maybe even listen to the interview that he did with Jason, just to kind of hear what they had to say. And then from there, we're also going to be doing we might break down the 600 mil, 300 mil like merit reasoning on that got played, you know, that got basically displayed for what the reason was. We are also planning to do an interview with GreyBallz from MFD to talk about them and their involvement, their feedback, how they just generally feel about being put KvK 1. And yeah, again, I'd love to be able to get access to the chat, to the Diplo chat, I should say. I don't know if that is necessarily going to happen, but I did ask if there's a way that I might be able to, just so I could kind of scroll through and look at everything. But we do have at least a number of screens that I know Gun showed off on his stream. So we're going to go through that. Like I said, we'll go through, and I want to talk through as well, and maybe even do some like data analysis on the whole, well, you know, reasonings that YSS essentially opted to go solo and free for all. On the whole, you know, should it have been 300? Should it have been 600 mil merits deducted? Should it have been something else entirely? Right? Was there a way to maybe potentially work around that? You know, how bad of a look is this for KvK 1? You know, we'll talk a little bit about some of the map implications, you know, maybe the matchup itself that the devs opted to do. I mean, there's really so many angles to essentially discuss this from. And I mean, I for one, at least, am pretty excited to be able to talk about it, just because I think this has probably been, I think arguably this has probably been the most public, instance of a KvK1 that we've got when it comes to, just generally speaking, the most amount of eyes on it, the most amount of transparency is probably even more fair to just with everything that's been going on. I mean, it's been pretty nuts. So again, we're going to be talking about all that and more. Yeah, I mean, I for one am just generally disappointed, but it's for it's kind of more, I guess it's more than that ideally. So yeah, I think my hope really is that, I think for anyone, right, you hope something like this could have been avoided, generally speaking, I think is probably fair to say. I don't think anyone goes in with the idea of, thinking to themselves, hey man, this is going to be, we want to make this the absolute worst KvK1 that there's ever been. So I don't think, I don't think that's generally speaking the play, right? All right. Yeah, that should be fun, man. Yeah, it's absolutely, absolutely nutty. Yeah. Abdul, what's up, man? Of course, the homie. Yeah, we'll probably start off, I think, probably by getting balls in here in a sec. So let me just reach out and make sure. Yeah, just kind of make sure he's good. And everything's copacetic there for me to bring him in. I'm the notification king. Frizzy, not here for the drama. Yeah, man. I mean, it should be, yeah, like I said, man, it should be good. It's a pretty wild day. I think that's fair to say, man. It's been unexpected and at the same time exciting. Tenzi, what's up, man? It's Dark's fault. Dude, I'll be honest, I cannot wait. I'm actually really looking forward to reading some of the live chat from Guns' stream, because I really just want to know. I really just want to know what Dark said. Part of me wants to know that. I also want to see, what some other people said too as well. I mean, yeah, dude, like I even reached out. I even reached out to, oh God, who was it? Who was it? I reached out to Kingdom Come, who I think is the YSS. I don't know if that's the YSS R5. I'm not sure exactly who leads YSS. I don't know if it's Kingdom Come or if it's someone else. I think I also saw Franken was there. I don't know if that's another R5 or, sorry, a Co-R5 or R4. I'd have to go look at their boards just because I haven't looked at it recently as far as just to kind of generally keep up with it. But it is, I will say I did reach out to Kingdom Come just to ask and say, look, man, would you, oh, okay. Oh, Franken's Tomato. Okay. And so, yeah, but I reached out and I asked, and cause I was, I thought, well, look, man, I mean, Guns did his stream, he showed off, kind of his part, or not his part, but, kind of gave his take on it. And, it seems like, based on how everything looks, I think from what he said, it felt like it was a little bit more on the YSS camp of like, hey, this is, 100% completely, their fault, so to speak. And again, I haven't seen enough. I haven't read enough for myself because I was kind of tuning in and out. So I don't know all the particulars. Again, I want to be able to kind of read a little bit just to see, for myself kind of what happened and what was discussed in total. There's obviously a lot of memes already, and chat. I mean, Discord is just absolutely blowing up. So yeah, it's been an interesting day. Yeah, Balls too busy being on my balls rest. This guy, man. Dark has no right to speak. Second order of Diplo. Everyone be kind and start at 450 mil and GG good season. Or a nipper, rip another KvK one, yeah. Tinsy Dark's killing YSS from within. Imagine paying someone to destroy the Reliance. Could never. Yeah, man. Yeah, I can. Again, I can only imagine. I'll say that. Yeah. Nipper Dark getting mad because he thought someone got called trash. Yeah, you know, I heard that part on Guns' stream, and I thought to myself, it didn't sound like he was, or no, Guns I think initially thought someone was calling him trash or something, but then I think the person was saying search the word trash in the search bar. That's how I actually initially interpreted it, but I don't know. I guess it was interpreted differently, differently amongst others, non-peers potentially. Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty nutty. Initially, I was like, wait, what's happening here? Yeah. Oh, Blaro, what's up, man? Oh, Frankie just to me. Okay, gotcha. Glizzy, imagine one person killing 180 people times 6 fun for 2 months. Jeez. Imagine being paid to warlane against Dark Lane Suity guys, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's that is slightly funny. I will say that. Yeah. Let me see here what I got. Okay. We're probably gonna be at GreyBallz here. I'm gonna message him right now because again, I'd love just to kind of talk to him first, and then, you know, we can always, yeah, we can always go from there. So I'm gonna reach out to Balls and to see if he's good to go. If he is, we'll bring him on first. And then I want to talk to him about KvK1, see what he thinks about this situation as well. And then from there, we'll read through and, you know, I'll give my take on what I think. And then, you know, we'll see if we can break down the whole 300 to 600 mil merits based on some past data. Because it was really interesting. You know, again, I don't know how they came up with those numbers. I mean, there actually is a way to come up with some numbers or with a number. I just don't know exactly how they did their numbers. So that is, you know, so, you know, it's interesting because I saw some people saying, oh, you know, or, you know, Jason didn't want to settle for that. And, you know, thought it was maybe too high. And there is actually a way to figure this out to identify kind of a median average. It's not too difficult to do it. I just don't know if they did any of that, if that was factored in at any point. So, okay, going to call you here. Okay, cool. Let me put my headset on. We're going to get Balls in here because I want to hear what he has to say about MFD getting put into KvK1. And also, we're going to ask him his thoughts on the situation as well. Okay, good. I just want to make sure the kiddo's good here. All right, let's see. Let me put that up. There you go, sweetie. Yeah. There you go then. All right, we're giving Ballsy a call here. I don't even want that anymore.
Yo.
Grey, what's up, man?
What's going on, CoD Familia?
Yo, it's the Balls. What's up? Oh, dude, that PFP is so wild, man. I just noticed that PFP is wild. Oh my gosh. Man, let me turn you up. Okay, dude, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for making some time for us. I know it was a little late right now, but I want to talk to you about quite a bit. First and foremost, just so I can kind of get the record here, are you still in the Diplo chat there for KvK1?
Yes.
You are. Okay, awesome. Okay, so again, I want to get your take on some of this too, but let me start with what I was mostly interested in, and I know this is going to be great to hear from you to kind of get someone who's in KvK1, who's not necessarily directly connected because you are on the other team. with kind of how everything went down. If there's a little bit more context there, but let me start with again, right? So for the fam out here, right? Are you, because again, I know Abda was kind of leading MFD at one point. I know he's kind of stepped back and he's not necessarily that active or not playing anymore. Are you officially R5? Are you co-leading with anyone there in MFD and 77? What's kind of the leadership setup there at the moment?
So after like an internal vote we did, I did eventually end up taking up as R5.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So you're the head honcho in that case. That makes things a little bit easier and more direct for me. With that, I want to know, what were your expectations coming into this KvK season? What KvK did you guys think you were going to get put in? Like KvK 4, 5, 3? Was there an expectation at all at any point?
I mean, honestly, like I don't even think we would have been in like KvK 3 or 4. Our power is only about like 14 billion. I mean, I haven't seen what KvK 4 looked like. But I mean, anything like 4 and below, we would have definitely like. I was just expecting it. I was like watching Gun stream on the side. I had my phone out, looking at my own KvK matchup.
Yeah.
And then once it like hit 5 seconds until reset, obviously with the stream delay, I see mine first. I was like, oh god, I see 77. I was like, okay, so that's obvious. But then I look up to the TV and see Gunstream is also 77. I'm like, wait, am I tweaking? I had to like close stream out and then put it back on and look at my phone again. I was like, wait a second. I am literally in the same KvK. I'm in KvK 1. So then immediately I just like start spam pinging Abdo. I was like, bro, you're not gonna believe this. He spawns in out of nowhere and then the whole VC just starts filling up.
Jeez. Oh, okay.
I put an announcement out saying, so we're in KvK 1, guys. I don't know how that happened, but we're in KvK 1.
Jeez. Okay. So again, and just kind of looking at some of the numbers, right? I mean, you got some 14 bills, some 12 bills, KvK 6, but KvK 5 feels like it's probably a little bit more up your guys' speed. There's like between 14 and 17. So it feels like probably KvK 5, KvK 6 might have been a bit more appropriate. But you're saying that's basically how you found out. So you guys find out. What was the immediate reaction, not only from you, from your management team, from your player base there in 77 and MFD? What was the immediate reaction, I guess, starting with maybe you, the leadership, and kind of working your way down to the members?
So at first it was just members, because I was like, all right, guys, I'm just going to be chilling in VC. If you all want to join in, just join in. It wasn't really like a whole leadership thing.
Okay.
So it was just me in VC for like 10 minutes before reset, and then like near reset, Barracuda shows up, and then some other people start showing up, getting ready, like the pre-KvK hype. And then once obviously we see the matchup, and then everyone just starts losing their minds laughing, because there's just no way that we ended up in here. And then I ping Abda, obviously he spawns in, and then he's like, oh my god, he's just like losing his mind. I DM Pepe from NXW R5. I just send him like the crying emoji. Actually no, I send him the blue emoji with like eating a cookie. And then he just sends me like a skull crying emoji. I was like, so you down to carry us again or what? Because like ain't no way we're gonna be playing this. And it's like, oh, you got I don't know how Diplo's gonna end up. Like you got the Diplo link? I was like, bro, I don't even think anyone's like registering we were even in here. So he sends me the link and then it just all goes down.
Jeez.
It is, and then I think Fabe joined. Let's join. Josh joined. So they're basically 2 from my leadership.
Okay.
We just started talking. I was like, guys, give me 1 second. I got y'all. I did eventually. No, then Abda cut me off saying, send him the link, trust. I was like, bro, you're not even supposed to be here. You're supposed to be like on vacation or something working. And he's like, no, bro, trust me. It's like, okay, bro. I sent him the link to the Diplo, and then it was just all Diplo for like the next 3 hours.
Jeez. Okay, so before we get to some Diplo stuff, because I want to hear from you on how Diplo went down, with how it started, how you guys kind of got to that first initial resolution or solution, or even just matchup that was announced out. Again, what did any of your officers, what did any of your members, what were some of those first initial reactions as far as what were they saying? Was it just, WTF, dude, like we need to boycott, everyone needs to go and just submit support tickets to the devs? Was it, let's you know, a worst case scenario, like, you know, we're just not even going to fight. We'll just take a pass season. Like, what was some of it? Was it just frustration? Was it disappointment? Was there some anger there? Confusion? What was it from some of the people there?
So funny enough, the first reactions didn't even come from current members in MFD. It actually came from people that left MFD like this previous season. I
Okay.
started like the alliance chat that because we have some friends from previous seasons where we just leave them the perms for the main alliance chat so
Oh,
we can
cool.
still talk to them without having going to a different channel. They just start freaking out, saying, "Bruh, I leave MFD because I want to go to like KvK 1, KvK 2." And now MFD's in KvK 1.
Yeah,
It's a
that's good.
huge bro moment because some people did leave to Milk, others went to NXW, others went to IMFS, others went to WB. So basically, our members that left us are now in our same KvK. Besides like the two people that went to Milk.
Mm.
So it's just like everyone just reunited again. And then eventually our members started like waking up, realizing what I pinged out, and then they just start losing their minds. But it's not like anything like bad. They're just losing their minds laughing. They're just sending like crying, laughing emojis. Um, Heart's basically saying that he's just gonna like chill. There's another free mana zone. And I was like, guys, don't worry. If we have a neighbor in zone one, we have Hunt. Like, if it comes down to it, we will at least have somebody to like help us out. But then I realized, like, wait a second, what's Hunt's power? I look it up and it's like, bro, it's a 20 bill. So I was like, bro, this is just gonna be free eats for anyone that fights us. So then Diplo starts happening, but that's a different topic.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So you guys feel that it's more of like it's more of you guys, I guess. God, what's the right way to say this?
It's more
You
hilarious than us just getting mad.
Well, it is. No, no, absolutely. But it's more of almost like you guys kind of think. I guess based on that, you kind of feel almost to an extent where it's like, man, it's like nothing to lose. We can just go out there and fight to our heart's content, you know.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
like,
people
like no one's gonna
aren't
be
gonna
mad at us or
expect
call
much of
us.
us,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, almost kind of like you're playing with free money, like house money, so to speak, this season.
basically.
Yeah. Jeez. Um. Okay. Okay. Hang on. I have apparently there is a. Okay. Okay. Hang on. Okay. Hang on.
I see the Abda message.
Yeah, hang on. Okay.
You have to respond to that one now. He slid you a 5.
This guy have to play. Please play the video. I DM'd you. Let's just okay. Okay. I had to watch it first. It's not that bad. So let me see here. I'll play it. What is it? Oh, what happened? Let me see. Okay.
There he goes. Oh
So
shit!
he's stealing your crypto wallet,
Oh,
Trust.
Spike, it's okay.
Oh, and hang on.
Oh god.
Is this okay?
Spike, Spike.
I wouldn't recommend playing the audio, but you can leave what's happening
Oh,
there.
Spike. Okay. No, no, it didn't sound bad. It didn't sound. I think it was just saying that. Okay.
This does illustrate Diplo chat perfectly.
Okay, it's not bad. All right, interesting, interesting. Abda has some just got some interesting taste there. Did we hear No, I did not. Did I not mute it? I did. Like I said, I wasn't sure. Well, all I heard was
Yeah, I would not recommend playing the actual
yeah,
audio of that video.
no. We did not play. All I heard was Spike. Like she was calling the name for that individual.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, don't play the audio of that.
That's all we heard.
You can play it. You can play it like one off stream or something. But I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't say anything crazy besides like an F bomb. But I don't know how that would like.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, that's not that bad.
Okay.
Okay, this is yeah, dear Lord. Yeah, thankfully it's okay. Thankfully we took the conservative approach on that one. Okay.
That completely threw us off there.
So okay, but you get to a point, like we said, you're playing with house money at this point. There's you guys don't necessarily feel like there's any pressure really on you at this point. So okay, so talk me through Diplo. Who made the Discord? Was it Jason who set everything up?
I have no idea who created the Discord. All I got was the link.
Okay, gotcha. So you're in the Discord. How long does it take for just essentially for at least one representative from each kingdom to join up? Was it pretty quick?
I think it was like 20 minutes, 30. No, definitely less than half an hour.
Okay.
But I think the longest one we had to wait for was NTS. They were like the last person to show up. So we were just like introducing ourselves, just saying hi, what's up, until like NTS spawned in. And once they came in, then Diplo just went down from there.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. So wait, hang on. Wait, hang on. When NTS spawned in?
So yeah, because he joined and then just said hi, and then Diplo just started.
Oh, after. Okay. It wasn't because of NTS. Okay.
No.
Oh,
He just spawned in because we were just talking, and then he just says hi. I was like, oh, okay, so we can get started.
okay. Gotcha. So it starts. How long does it take at this point for Diplo to play out there in KvK1? I mean, again, right? We have some screens here, but how long does it take for Diplo to essentially play out there in the beginning when it comes to oh, here, you want me to switch? Yeah, I'll switch. You want to take that off, sweetie? There you go. So let's take this off. But how does it take essentially for Diplo to play out until, kind of that initial resolution, or it feels like you guys are getting a little bit closer to an answer?
So the initial Diplo didn't even start until I think Jason said that they were not allying YSS. Like their first message was like, I'm not allying YSS. So then I just responded with, I'm not allying IMFS. I'm not allying with Jason, basically. Just like to throw him back. I mean, I don't really have much to lose, so I just thought it would be funny just to throw that out there.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And then WB, I think, said they weren't allying NTS. I forget exactly how those two went down.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
then I was like, that was just a joke. Don't worry about it. I mean, if we had the ally Jason, I mean, I'd be down for it.
Okay.
After that, it went to waiting a little bit for Paradise to bring up the kingdom stats of each one and then putting it on the board. That took about like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Once we saw that, people started like debating, okay, why do we do this? What do we do that? Then Jason shows up and says WB, NXW, and then IMFS. I was like, bruh, that NXW, Abda said that's an immediate Diplo win. Like that's just not happening. And I was like, bro, we're just gonna get zone locked off rip. Like it's not even fair. WB said, okay, we won't zone lock you. I was like, all right, that's fine, but it's still a Diplo win regardless because if once final zone opens, we're just gonna get targeted. It's free eats.
Yeah.
Hunt at this point didn't show up until a little bit later. They showed up probably about a minute later, and then they said something, and then I was like, okay. They were basically just agreeing with what we thought would be a good idea. I was like, you guys also have to do, like, you have to say something too. I mean, we're technically the smaller one. I mean, if you start like saying something, it's not like I could press y'all.
Yeah.
And basically it was like, okay, we both agreed to like whatever seemed to be like decently fair for us for at least final zone we would take. And we're like, because that was happening outside of the actual 6v the Six Kingdom chat.
Oh, okay.
So then WB proposes WB, NXW, IMFS versus all plus do not zone lock. Or we could do WB, YSS, Hunt, and MFD versus everyone else. Jason basically said he liked the first one better. Abda immediately claps back saying that's just a Diplo win. Jason saying it's not a Diplo win. And then it's just basically going back and forth with us and NXW versus Jason saying how that was a Diplo win for probably about like 20 minutes. We were stuck there just trying to like convince him how that was a Diplo win, how that wasn't a Diplo win. And then Jason was like, I'm just not going to ally with Dark. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to send an invite to Dark, see what he says. And that never happened because, I mean, I don't even have Dark added as a friend, so it's not like I could send him anything. Then it basically just goes into a stalemate where no one's saying anything about Diplo. I think it stays for like that for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then finally we get back on track. Nothing really happens. It still becomes WB, YSS, MFD, NTS, IMFS, NXW, or the WB, IMFS, NXW with no zone invasion. Eventually we start saying, okay, what if we just do like left versus right? And we wait like 5 minutes for Paradise to get the stats on board. Everyone sees it and is like, that's pretty fair because we don't get zone locked. YSS or not YSS, NTS or TFS or IMFS wouldn't get zone locked, and they would have fights off rip. YSSS would obviously not have fighting, but they would have a pretty decent advantage of being able to fight in final zone, being them having 0 deads and having a bunch of elixir stocked up. And then I talked to Hunt R5, Mr. T, saying, hey, if we take this, it's literally our best option. And they're like, no, I like the idea of being able to fight in zone 2. I was like, bro, we're not going to be able to survive a fight in zone 2 versus NXW or WB. It's just not happening. It's not realistic. So then they're like, okay, what do you think? I was like, we have to take this WB NXW if we want to at least be able to play the whole KvK in some capacity. But he eventually convinced them, and then it was everyone. YSSS agreed, NTS agreed, WB agreed, NXW agreed, we agreed, Hunt agreed, and it was just Jason. So Jason was like, okay, let me go to VC with my R4s and let's talk about it. They spend probably about 20 minutes, not even 20, I think 10 to 15 minutes. And they agree, they come back and say, okay, so we did a duck race and we're not doing it. And then the whole Diplo chat just lost their mind.
Really?
Saying, what do you mean you just did a duck? What do you mean you just did a duck race to decide if it was worth it or not?
Wait,
And then-
hang on. like a mini game online duck race or something like that?
Yeah. So there's 3 ducks. They put 3 different options up there, and whichever random RNG duck won would be what they would go for. So then, yeah, Diplo chat loses her mind. Mainly Abda lost his mind, saying, bro, you're throwing the whole KvK because of a duck race. And eventually, his R4s did convince him that it would be a good idea to ally Dark and take the WB, MFD Hunt, and NXW like left versus right.
Okay.
KvK, as it would be the most optimal, and everyone agreed to it besides us. So then that happened.
Okay.
That was literally day 1 KvK Diplo that lasted like 3.5 hours.
Interesting. Okay. So in the end, you're saying everyone except your team was like on board.
No,
for
IMFS.
Okay.
Jason was the only one that did not want to do this.
Okay. But then you're saying eventually what happened is either the R4s convinced him or something happened, and then he eventually
Yeah,
got
his
on board.
R4 team in voice chat eventually convinced him that just to take it because it was literally everyone versus him, and he was literally the one delaying this Diplo, and people wanted to go to sleep.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So there might have been, I guess, a little pressure in a sense of trying to get everything done shortly after reset before people started knocking out.
Yeah, because there were some people that had like 4 a.m. because I mean they stayed up at reset, which was 1 a.m. and they stayed up 3 hours additional for Diplo that was going nowhere.
Got you.
That was just going in circles over and over and over.
Did anyone in KvK1 Diplo suggest or recommend or say, look, let's just summarize where we are right now and let's pick this back up at this time is when we'll kind of restart having conversations? Did anyone just say like, hey, let's take a recess, let's summarize where we're at so everyone is up to date and nobody has to go backtrack, and then let's take a whatever it is, a 4-8 hour break, and then let's bring this back at a certain time? Like, did anyone just suggest kind of a pause at any point, or no?
No, that only really happened in the middle of Diplo. Like WB would have like randomly just keep sending like a summary of Diplo every once in a while, because a random R4 from a different like kingdom would show up and say, hey guys, what's happening, and then they would just copy and paste. That would be the only summary in Diplo that we would have gotten.
Okay.
And I don't think there would have been like another like chance, knowing what I know like today, that all 7 of us would be online at the same time.
Well, I mean, if all 7 of you guys were online, I imagine it would have been a little after reset, this sounds like. So, I mean, the potential, I guess, for that happening, it
would probably be like a few hours before reset, considering how we had some people at 1 a.m. for reset.
Got you. Quick question. Did anyone at any point say or think to have, at least one main rep from each team, or if it was 2 main reps for each team, say like, hey, these are the hours I'll be available tomorrow, and like everyone just post their hours real quick so you guys could figure out what like a good cross time would be to basically re-pick back up the discussion at some point later on, or no, that wasn't suggested.
No one ever suggested of doing like continuing Diplo a different day.
Okay.
The only thing we had was whoever the R5 was of that kingdom, their word was basically gospel. So if they said something, it was because the entire alliance said this.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, like Fluffy's like an IMFS R4. If he said, "Oh, we're allying," if Jason didn't say it, it's not true.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. So, and then I'm curious. I mean, how many reps were in there per kingdom, at least outside of what you would say, what you'd consider to be either the main R5 or the main Diplo person who's speaking for the kingdom?
Personally, I didn't really count, but for IMFS, I believe they had 5. You had Vico, Calvary, Fluffy. I forget who else was there, but I know they had about 3 to 5. WB had about the same. NTS was just the R5, and I think one other. YSS was Tomato. For us, it was just me and Abda.
Okay.
For Hunt, I believe there's 2 to 3.
Okay. Because I think I saw there might have been about 20 people or so in there, at least from one screen. I don't know what the total, I guess, would be. Maybe that could have just been from online. But okay. So, I mean, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on just generally speaking, looking at how it initially played out, and then obviously getting to the fallout? What are your thoughts on how many people do you think should have been representing each kingdom in there? Should it have just been one? Should it have been 2 or more, but only one person could talk? Like, now that you've seen how the KvK 1 Diplo has played out, again, despite if you were in one before, but for this one, again, would you yourself have changed anything with just kind of maybe the rules of engagement?
Well, what do you mean by fallout? Like, what do we know, like today?
No,
or
just based on how
post day 1.
Yeah, based on from when it started till now. Like, do you think it would have helped at all if it was just 1 rep per kingdom allowed to speak, or it was okay, but maybe they just should have summarized more often? Maybe there should have been a break. Maybe if they were going to have 2 or more people speak, it should have been at certain points. We know, like, was there too many chefs in the kitchen? Do you have any thoughts on that as far as kind of how, from what you saw, because you were there, right? You have a firsthand account. You were eyes on.
Personally, I mean, I didn't really see too much of an issue with the amount of players that were or people that were talking, because the other R5s wouldn't really take into account what the R4 says besides just some simple advice. They brought up a stat sheet, they'll be like, okay, you see, this is this and that. And if they recommended this in this matchup, they'll be like, okay, what does everyone else think? And basically from each kingdom, only really one person was talking at a time, besides another R4 saying, hey, you sent the wrong one on accident. You should have sent this one. Or basically saying, we're in VC right now. Give us 1 second. So no one was really overlapping each other with like the amount of R4s per kingdom had. Okay. So I think it was fine.
Okay. So you don't feel that it negatively impacted. That's where I'm kind of getting at. Like it didn't seem like it did. Okay.
If anything, I would have wanted NTS to have at least one other person besides the R5, because he would just say one thing and then disappear, and then we're like, okay, where's NTS at?
Okay. Okay. I gotcha.
So I mean, I would just hope, like, having too many people is not that bad as long as only one person at a time is talking.
Okay.
But the lack of people was a bit annoying, because you had Tomato, who was just him at the time, at least in the early half of Diplo. It was literally just him. He said hi and then probably didn't say a single thing unless you pinged him.
Okay. So what does that mean? Does that mean like Dark was there or someone else was there?
No, Dark was not there.
Oh,
if Dark was there, Diplo would have been even worse.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
We probably would have not even finished Diplo that day. For like the left versus right, we basically all agreed to saying, do not let Jason and Dark talk to each other.
Wait, did people actually type that out in the Diplo chat?
Everyone just said, don't let these two talk to each other, and we should be fine.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And Jason was like, if I had to talk to Dark, it's just not happening.
Okay.
And then we were like, okay, so as long as this rule gets fulfilled, it should be fine.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, listen, at least everyone is in unison on something.
Yeah, yeah. At least that was one thing we could agree on like immediately.
Mm.
Only if Diplo was that easy.
Oh, geez. Okay. So you guys come to your first agreement. Everyone's now. I'm curious from the YSS perspective. Did you see? Were there any reservations? Was there anything from the YSS side that you saw where they were like, like we're not really 100% on board, but F it, we'll just kind of go with it? Or was it more of like, no, we are on board, yes, or it was just yes, we're down? Like there wasn't any doubt that anyone from the YSS team put out when it came to that initial agreement.
So initially, when we weren't talking about like the left versus right, they were just down for like anything.
Okay.
And once we got to the left and the right, they were like, wait a second, we won't get any fighting for like the 3/4 of the season, but it is the only matchup that's fair and allows everyone to safely, without like stress and like nerfing everybody else, get into final zone. So after like probably about 5 to 10 minutes, they came back and said, okay, we're down for the left versus right.
Okay.
And we have like an agreement message from him saying YSS is down for the left versus right. So basically, in like his own statement is, we're good for left versus right. We're down for it. Even if it means less fighting, it should provide a fun final zone.
Okay. And just to confirm, though, like there was not any reservations. There wasn't any doubt or YSS saying, no, we don't really like this. We kind of feel like we're getting forced into it. Like there wasn't that impression that you necessarily got. It was more of, no, like you probably thought, oh, they went to go talk about it. They figured it out and they came back with a yes.
Crazy thing, from the left versus right, YSS was the first one out of their three to say they agree.
Okay.
Then came NTS, and then obviously we had to convince Jason for probably about an hour.
Okay. I mean, to be fair,
but
he was
for the left
trying
versus
to sell Pokemon
right
cards at the same time. So
yeah, from our side, it was NXW first agreed, then I agreed, and then WB was just waiting to see if someone else agreed.
Okay.
Once YSS agreed, they say, okay, it's the majority. We agree as well.
Okay.
WB is basically down for anything that the majority wanted.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. So, I mean, that helps clarify a little bit because, my thing is based on at least what was shown earlier. You might have thought to yourself, okay, well, I think that would have been a fair question to ask given the, I'll just say.
Given what we know now.
Exactly. What we know now with how things have transpired and YSS effectively opting to go solo, I would be curious if they had shared any reservations, if they said anything about, we're not really 100% in on this, but it's just because the majority's going with it, we're going with it, kind of a thing. So to know that was not the case, I mean, again, that I think provides a little bit more context and sheds light. So we get to the stage of they first agree, everything is set. When did you start noticing that things were like getting a little iffy or like the boat started rocking? I imagine that probably happened at some point this morning or today, but how did that look in chat?
So basically this morning I woke up to an @everyone ping from Tomato, or not Tomato. Is it Tomato? No, I don't even remember. But the YSS R5 saying, hey guys, would you be interested in rediploing? And I mean, no one said anything besides obviously the @everyone. So I just throw like an emoji out, basically just to like clear up chat and have someone respond to something. And no one really said anything.
Okay.
So it was just like, what now? It did eventually take a minute for someone else to say something, which was Jason. He eventually chimed in. And Fluffy chimed in. WB people started chiming in. And it was just like, on our side, Pepe was like, we already made build plans, strategies, final zone strategies, zone 2 strategies, zone 3 strategies. like re-diploing would just completely cook all of our officers' times, and members would not be happy because they're already hyped to fight, let's say IMFS, for example, and WB NTS. So we re-diploed, it would be like we would have to retract everything what we stated and then fix discords and do all that all over again.
Okay.
And then
I watched
Jason chimed in saying if there's going to be a rediplo, I want NXW, WB, IMFS, YSS versus YSS, MFD, Hunt, NTS.
What is it?
And it was like Pepe jumped in saying, bro, we already talked about this for like 2 hours. It's a Diplo win if we do something like that. We're not going to do that. And it was basically day 1, but day 2 again.
Jeez.
So
wow.
So that was something. It was just Jason and Pepe going like back and forth for probably about half an hour to an hour.
Oh jeez.
And then WB Eliga woke up, and then she said the season hadn't even started, but if anyone opposes the rediplo, we can't do it because everyone here agreed on in writing basically that we're down for the KvK and changing it is too late now. Jason immediately responds saying that he's down to rediplo. YSS obviously agrees, saying they want to rediplo. Pepe jumps in saying they don't agree. And I'm just here watching because I'm like, even if I say I don't want to rediplo, it's not like, I mean, MFD is really going to do too much regardless on what side. So I was just waiting for WB to say something. It was just Jason and Pepe going back and forth. Jason bringing like random like one-liners from WB, even though like straight out of no context. And was like, bro, that's not what he said. If you read the context, it actually says something completely different, but you're just like singling something out. Then NTS jumps in saying, we don't really care. We just want a fun season. If we need a rediplo, it's fine. But I mean, I just don't see any other KvK matchup that would be relatively fair.
Jeez. So
and then basically once NXW said they're not going to rediplo, WB says, okay, if NXW is not rediploing, we're not going to rediplo. And then I jump in saying, okay, if they're not rediploing, we're not rediploing. So yeah.
Interesting. So what was so NTS was kind of just, I guess, similar to you guys. It was just kind of a watch, and
yeah, he was just waiting for the opportunity to say something because nothing when chat was said for like 10 minutes, and then they jumped in saying, okay, we're just down for whatever. If you need to do something,
NTS,
do it.
Bro, like just the people's chat, man. They're just, man. Was it Mark? Was Mark the one?
Yeah, he was the only one from NTS.
Okay. And I'll say, man, like I don't know if you've had conversations with Mark before. I mean, I've talked to Mark quite a few times, and Mark very much within NTS kind of gives me that, like, man, we're just like we're as cool as cucumbers, man. Like we're just gonna like go with the flow and not like make any waves, but you know, we obviously want, you know, what's best for the entire KvK. So that sounds pretty on brand for Mark. Just like, man.
Yeah, this was my first time actually
like,
interacting with him.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, what's this shit show that's unfolding right now in front of us?
Yeah, he was like, you guys do you. Once the dust settles, we would say something. I mean, like whoever's left standing, we'll just go there.
Oh jeez. Oh my gosh. So this transpires, and obviously, again, I'm going to read through some of the Diplo chat here in a little bit, but you get to a point where it comes to a head. Now, I'm curious for you, from what you saw, because some of the screens I saw was talking about the whole, 306 million merit thing, and that kind of ended up being, the thing that seems to have broke the camel's back. Obviously, we'll go and take a little bit more of a specific look at that here in a moment, but what are your general thoughts? I don't know if you had a chance to read up on any of that or anything else that you felt factored in. How did it look to you? Did it seem like that was a big deal? Should one way or the other, one option or the other, you felt was more appropriate? It should have been something else. What's your take on that?
So personally, I haven't really read through the whole Diplo chat they had, so I mean, I can't really put a statement on that.
Okay, fair enough. So, given what you know now, I'm curious. Now that YSS has basically declared this, to best of your knowledge, what's the current state of affairs there in KvK1? Like, is it NTS and IMFS, and it's still U4, and it's basically a 4v2v1? Is that what it is, or does it look like it's something else?
Well, the thing with the whole YSS situation is that we didn't know up until probably like I don't know if you were checking like Guns' stream, but once he immediately streamed. About 5 minutes before he streamed, Jason put a ping out to all of us, telling us that YSS has went solo and is no longer part of the team.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to like reorganize Diplo or something, to shoot your shots.
Oh, interesting.
And basically we're like,
No.
basically, so no one basically said anything besides just saying, why did YSS not say that, and why did you have to say that?
Everyone's like,
Because
we
thought he was trolling or something.
Okay.
Because we didn't get any explanation to why YSS left, besides Jason just saying, "Oh, he left."
Oh, jeez.
So we're like, why couldn't he just tell us himself?
Oh, I see. So you're saying when Jason came back, there wasn't any kind of explanation or reasoning to say, oh, well, this is what we were talking about. They feel this way. We feel this way. We couldn't come to an agreement. So this is what happened. They opted to leave. Like there wasn't that level of an explanation.
Literally, he said, "I've come to inform you YSS has chose to go solo."
Oh, jeez.
So we were like, okay, well, why isn't YSS saying it? Are you like, what was the issue?
Yeah.
And Jason really didn't tell us anything about it.
Okay, so basically, from your
So we
perspective,
were
all
left
four
like
of you found out on the stream.
But yeah, once Guns started streaming, I just like, bruh, so Guns just went live with the YSS chats. And then everyone in Diplo and our side was like, well, now what? Now we had to go on stream and read everything to see why this is happening.
Oh my gosh, jeez. Oh, so to be clear, what Guns showed on stream wasn't like your guys' main Diplo chat. It was just their team's Diplo chat.
Correct. It was their own ally chat.
Okay.
It was NTS, YSS, and IMFS only.
Okay, got you. And that's what it looked like, but I wasn't, again, because I was in and out and kind of going from work back just to viewing. That's, again, some people were saying that, and that's, I guess, kind of how it looked. But, okay, that's nice to know that that's exactly what it was. So you're reading all this for the first time. Again, is there any sense or idea of what the lay of the land is right now? Like, what are the current state of affairs there?
Well, if you want like the 100% honest truth, literally the last conversation we had in the Discord was talking about Pokemon. So, so you can guess what the current state of affairs is.
Okay. It's deflect until it comes to a head. Got it.
I did ask NTS what was their stance, because if YSS went solo,
yeah.
Then what about them? They're like, oh, we're still allied with YSS and IMFS. So I was like, wait, so you're helping them two out, but YSS is only helping you. And obviously IMFS is not going to be happy with YSS, so they're going to fight. So what's happening there? And then I just never got a response from that.
Oh, jeez.
So,
okay.
So and then it just devolved into Pokemon talk.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I still don't know who NTS is allied with. Like, what's happening? Is it like a 3v1v1v1, or like what's happening? Literally, no one has said anything officially.
Okay. Interesting. So basically, since you found out, there hasn't been any kind of continued talk on that potential re-Diplo conversation, or really anything else as far as kind of just going forward.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I think Diplo is kind of cooked. Like,
okay.
I don't think it's happening.
Got you. So, at least based on where things stand, then it essentially is, in your guys' eyes, a 4v2v1, unless something else comes of it.
Personally, I don't really know what you would call this. I mean, NTS is allied with YSS and IMFS, who are both each other's allies, at least from what Jason's talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't really know, what would you call it? Would you call it like a 3v2v2 or something, like a 4v2v2?
Yeah.
I don't really know what would you call it.
Oh, okay.
But
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, because NTS would be obviously allied with YSS, but at the same time also allied with IMFS. But they're fighting each other. So.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I see. So YSS kind of is just wanting to double dip, basically.
Or I don't really know what their whole like goal is.
Sorry, I mean YSS. Excuse me, not IMFS. But YSS is almost kind of saying like that we want to double dip. We want to fight. Like we want our cake and we want to eat it too. Kind of a situation. But I guess it depends. if that's their view.
They want fighting. They want fighting, and they're gonna get fighting.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it means they're gonna have to like switch up on IMFS, I mean, to get their fighting, then they gotta do what they gotta do.
Yeah. Okay.
But NTS is just like, I mean, that's not my problem. Like, if you guys have issues, then you guys solve it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean that helps clarify some things. So I appreciate that, Balls. I guess if I was to end on anything, how would you have done the KvK one? Would you have just said like, let's just remove MFD, let's remove Hunt, and let's just put another strong sixth kingdom in here? And if so, who would you have replaced you and Hunt with to make it an even 6?
Well, I know people were saying, "Oh, just throw Milk in here," but Milk isn't a full 200, and that does like show obviously like versus these top KvKs. I mean, you're gonna need all 200 players. Obviously, you're not gonna get 200 online, but even if they get 150 online, that's more than your entire alliance, and your entire alliance is not gonna be online.
Gotcha. Okay, so you probably would have rather had like WAO or someone like them.
Yeah, basically someone as high as 200 members, but also being around 30 bill.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
But I mean, having us and Hunt in here is just kind of selling the whole KvK. So, I mean, I don't really know why we're here. I mean, we're here for the ride, I guess.
Right. It's like a tag along.
And spectating the whole KvK, like the KvK Diplo, I think it was already worth it.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. All right, man. Well, jeez, I appreciate the
time. Fluffy did say hi, so I had to throw that out there.
Okay, yeah, man, yeah, dude, shout out to Fluffy, man. He was so cool to meet. I told Fluffy when I met him at New York, I was like, dude, you just got like this super chill, like just cool as a cucumber vibe, because he was just so, I don't know if I want to say like straight face, but he was just so, I guess like chill, like almost relaxed, so to speak, the entire time, and just unbothered. That's a good word to use. He looked very unbothered by like anything anytime I looked at him or if I would come over and talk to him. It's just like he was just like, dude, I'm just chilling, I'm doing my thing, like whatever happens. No,
like I've talked to Fluffy literally before this interview. I was in the IMFS Discord in their VC.
Yeah.
And I mean, Fluffy was definitely kind of freaking out. Not freaking out, but he was really mad at all of IMFS R4s that were there. You had Guns, Vico, Fluffy, and all of them. They were there, and they were not happy with YSS, which is understandable. I mean, you're not even in KvK yet, and your allies already left.
Yeah.
And basically selling the entire KvK, and I mean, our side is just like, bruh. It's like, okay, so this is just like a free win, or is this like a fake out? YSS is just going to come out of nowhere in Final Zone and start going crazy? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Well, you know what this reminds me of, and you might like this comparison. This reminds me of the Portal season. You remember the Portal season where the A's could fight against the 2Bs in that.
I do remember that.
In that far left and far right zone 3, and what ended up happening? I mean, the A's cooked. Like it wasn't really a competition. Maybe for some of the smaller A's, you could make the argument for, but for like the stronger A's, thank you. Okay, thank you, Z-Bomb. Yeah, I was blanking right now on the season. Age of Duality. Yes, if you looked at like the top KvKs where they had this, I mean, did they compete for a while? Sure, but at the same time, they also put in work, and you could clearly tell that like they had to kind of throw everything at those A seeds just to kind of make it last as long as they could.
That season is honestly pretty forgettable for me. I don't even remember who we fought. Like that season was so bad.
Yeah, but it's just.
But I do remember like the 2 B seeds fighting the A seed, at least in our level. It was just not happening. Yeah. Like those 2 guys just could not do anything about it. I forget if we were the A seed or B seed, but I do remember at one point we were at 2 different fronts.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we weren't stressing out over it.
Yeah.
We're like, oh guys, just let them like take out 2 towers, and I mean it'll be fine. So I'd assume we were like, oh, MFD was to the NXW. Oh, you're right.
I don't have an orange.
But it was like, I mean, it wasn't really fair. Like that whole KvK was just like, even if both B seeds pulled up, it just wasn't happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, probably that would happen with the same season here. Like if us and Hunt pulled up like on NXW or WB, for example. I mean, it was just not happening either. I mean, we would not. I just don't think we could do anything about it, especially once territory started touching. I mean,
Yeah.
WB's 40 billion power. I mean, we're only 15 and then 20. That's already double our power. So I mean, it would be Raps regardless. NXW, I mean, they're crazy, so that would be Raps. They're 31 bill, but they definitely hit harder. They hit really hard for their account size. And then I mean, then you have Jason. I mean, Jason's kind of a noob, so I mean, he wouldn't really do too much.
All right. Well, no, man. I appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit about your guys' perspective in KvK1, and I mean, it seems very similar to what Mr. T said from Hunt, and yeah, I don't know. I guess I just feel very. To me, it was shocking. So I can only imagine to you guys and Hunt, and I know kind of what Mr. T explained, and I can only imagine it's a little bit more amplified from your own perspectives, especially because you guys are there in it and you know what's going to end up coming up. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's that. So let me see here. Okay,
yeah, I watched the Mr. T interview.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he basically had like the same thoughts as I did. I mean, like when he said, "What are we doing here?" Like, yeah, I mean, what are we doing here? This is kind of like,
Yeah, what are we doing?
you know what I mean? Like, why are we kind of here? Like, yeah, our account power is pretty like we're pretty power dense because I mean we have like 85 members, and all 85 are pretty stacked, and they're all fighters. But the thing is, I mean, you have 14 billion versus 40 billion, and you have over double our members. I mean, even if all of us pulled up, you would only have to show up with half of your members. And I mean, even then, we would just get steamrolled.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't really do bashing fights because we don't have anyone with max decos. So
yeah. I mean,
it would just get fried.
You're preaching. You're preaching. Okay. Before I let you go, I got a couple community questions for you so far. First question is, why are your balls gray?
If you know, you know. About it. You had to be like a season 1 OG in server 31. If you know, you know.
Okay. I mean, I thought I'd get a little more out of that, but okay. All right. Next one, Nippert asked.
He tried to find out the lore behind the name.
The lore, yeah.
But to keep it like a buck,
yeah.
This name did carry over from like Rock.
Okay.
I had this name in Rock, so I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna think of a new name. I'm just gonna bring it over.
Okay. All right. Respect. Nice. Okay. I mean, nice to have some nostalgia coming over with you. Next one I got here is, okay, Nippert asked, what are your thoughts on Dark?
I mean, personally, I never really interacted with him besides like during the Road League thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was a Giga troll. I mean, I just troll him back, so I mean, it's not really too much of an issue. I don't hate the guy, but I do love trolling him.
Yeah. Did you play in that road match?
I did not.
Okay.
So I couldn't play at all during League because I was at work. So
yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I did miss out on the skin, but I mean, it's like I either work or I get a virtual skin.
Okay. I mean, to be fair and rationally and logically, it makes sense why you chose one over the other.
Yeah, it's like I either get money and survive, or I get fired for a virtual Lula skin.
Yeah. It seems like a no-brainer. Okay. Next one. Yohei wants to know, why are you so happy?
Why am I happy? I assume why am I happy with like this KvK?
Yeah. No.
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I just find this whole situation funny. I get to obviously, leave zone 1, even though like the whole Diplo was like, oh, we wouldn't zone lock you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine, but I mean that doesn't mean final zone where we just get free pass through. And I mean we get to play, we get to help everyone out. So far the whole ally from WB NXW has been really helpful, really like zero drama. We just been basically like laughing this entire time. So I do like the team we got. And that's really about it. I mean, once I saw like how everyone was talking with each other, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good KvK. Be chilling.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, let me see what else I got for you. Someone asked, GreyBallz, are you going to kick Abda?
He's already been kicked. How you think I got R5?
Okay. Next one, I got Reckmore wants to know, what is MFD's goal looking forward on to future seasons? Stay in B, move to A?
I mean, personally, right now, I mean, definitely not going to A if KvK's Diplo is going to be looking like this. But from what I've heard from Tiny, who's like in the smaller KvKs, it's not better there either.
Okay.
So I would probably want to stay around like mid tier, just so I can at least run into people that I do know, even if it does put me at the lower end. But at least I know them and I know how they work. Versus like going to a low seed and having no idea who's anyone else, and possibly like I could run into like Kyle and get cooked, or I could like run into like Pepe, WB, Captain. I could run into people that I'm familiar with, and it wouldn't be too much of an issue as long as I don't really run into like Jason, because Jason Diplos is kind of like annoying.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, if the COD community has to say anything with like Jason Diplo, is like you don't want Jason to do Diplo. I don't know why he's in this chat. This whole chat would have been like solved way sooner if Jason was not doing Diplo. But I do get why he was doing Diplo. I mean, he's co-R5, so.
Touche.
No hate on Jason. I just like trolling him.
Jinkies is the boy. Yeah, too. I'm telling you right now. The one thing I will forever remember about well, there's a couple things I remember about Jason from New York City, but the one thing I will remember absolutely is that, man, dude, that boy's tolerance level is through the roof. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it.
Nah, Jason is definitely easy to bait.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty easy to rage bait.
That's the homie. Okay. What else I got here for you? What do you think? Oh, dear God, Frizzy asked, what do you think about the McDonald's Big Arch Burger? What is happening right now?
I mean, shit. I haven't tried it recently. I mean, I haven't seen anything about it. I'm pretty sure the McDonald's I got like around here had like a rat infestation, so that got shut down or something. All I do know is that the McDonald's here got closed down, so it got cooked.
Okay, pun intended. Okay, what about? Let me see. Let me see. Well, okay, I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Okay. Fushu asks, what's your opinion about your current allies?
They're goats. They made it pretty easy to just like go on autopilot. Honestly, I mean, I wake up and I see Pepe's crew being like, "Oh, hey guys," and then WB is like, "Hey, we've came to like a consensus that this is what we're gonna do, and we've already did like the whole build plan for you in Zone 3."
Oh.
I was like, "Let's go." That relieves my one and only builder from having to worry about that. Let's go. I mean, if you're gonna be like doing stuff like that, I mean, shit, I might as well just be chilling around. I mean, you keep doing that, I mean, we'll show up. Because I mean, our R4 team went from like 10 people down to like 2. It was just me and Libra, and I was like, bro, if I can't get R4s, I'm cooked, and I'm gonna have to like disband MFD before like KvK started, and it was like with 4 days until matchmaking. And then I start like DMing everyone that I know that is like that's had previous R4 experience, and it's like, hey guys, I need you or else we're gonna get fried. And thankfully they pulled up, they showed up. Shout out Cubone, who did like all the Zone 1 build plan, and we had a bunch of people like we did eventually group up and get MFD back to a running thing again.
That's awesome. I will say, I absolutely love hearing stories like that because, again, I don't know. I know you said you played some rock, so I imagine you've probably been in some leadership positions or done some management in other kingdoms or other alliances before, and you probably know yourself how difficult it can be after you start in a kingdom and you got that season 1 hype. Everyone's raring to go. Everyone's excited, and then season after season after season, you kind of just slowly start depleting. You lose people in management, and you don't necessarily have, you don't get like a one-to-one replacement. That's not really how it works. And again, unless you get merges, you're really doing some proactive recruitment. Like, it can be hard to replenish your management staff. So the fact that you were able to get some people to come in and really help out, like, I mean, obviously congrats on that, because I mean, I'll tell you right now, dude, like that's a testament to people who, can really encourage others to want to step up, to want to be involved, because that just doesn't usually happen that way, especially for kingdoms that have lasted for a long time. You guys have been in 77 for a while, and it can be difficult when you've been somewhere for quite a bit to try and find some level of renewed motivation for people to want to step up and do management. So I'm sure that probably
Yeah.
felt good when it happened.
Oh, 100%. Like, I've played Rock for 4 years before I started playing this.
Yeah.
So there's already 7. That's like in total 7 years of playing these types, like from the Lilith game series. And obviously, after 4 years, I mean, just sticking around in the same kingdom, because in Rock, I just stayed in that kingdom for 4 years straight, and eventually, I mean, I've seen like R4s quit, I've seen R5s quit, I've been through plenty of rotations of leadership in that kingdom, and then once I came into this game, obviously I had my own personal alliance that I ran as R5. Then I eventually had to disband it because Jason's alliance, SN, Dojo, and Rios were just so much bigger than they were like, oh, I'm just gonna head over here.
Oh gosh,
So
that
I was
was
like,
back
oh
in like
man,
the 30 days.
yeah, that was back day one. So I was like, man, so I had to disband this, and I mean, it sucked seeing my little alliance that I started for
Yeah.
probably more than half the season had to go. But then obviously I ran into Jason, I ran into Guns, I ran into so many people, and then that was 2 seasons. I eventually moved on. Then Jason did the whole S2 plus thing, and I mean,
Yeah.
after that, I went with Abda and stuck with him for about like 2 years.
Okay. Did you ever play with Abda and Rock?
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I know. Yeah, because
I
I know he
think I
played with you a bit.
remember. I don't remember if I do like if I've ever heard that like from Abda and Rock, but mainly because I just didn't really care too much about what other kingdoms were doing. I was
Gotcha.
just like caring about my own kingdom.
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I got a few more for you before I let you go, and we might actually be getting another interesting personality to join up. So Nippert asked, "What are your thoughts on the rumors of you and Pepe having a love relationship?"
Rumors. I thought that was true. What happened? Did we like break up or something?
Sweetie,
I haven't got a message.
Sweetie, cover your ears. Something is about to be said here.
I don't. I do not think we've broken up. So unless I'm missing a DM, the rumors are no longer are not rumors. They are true in facts. Wait, Cookie's Pepe's cheating on Cookie? No. Cookie actually approved this.
Oh, I should start a matchmaking show. I need to get a bunch of ladies to step up. Okay, let me see what else I got for you here. Oh my God, Frizzy asked, "Does MFD stand for Moist Freaky Dudes?"
So I'm down to actually rename it to that.
I'm actually now curious. What does it stand for? I don't know if I.
It's marked for death.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta go. Okay.
So I mean, if we had to rename to Moist Freaky Dudes, I mean, I'm down.
Just.
I'm 100% down.
Just switch it up. Just like change everything up now that you have control.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, as a joke, gonna rename MFD to like Balls Mafia.
Okay.
Or just rename MFD to Noir, because I did steal the Noir tag, so one of our shows has that tag.
Oh my gosh.
So I was just gonna swap it around and just name main MFD to Noir, just to throw people off.
Oh my gosh. That is damn, dude, to have that tag, that is, yeah, man. That's, I mean, no pun intended, that's ballsy to have that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me see what else I got for you here. If we have anything. Oh yeah, okay, so Sylvester says, should YSS go back to the G1 pool?
I mean, if it's the best for their alliance, then they got to do what they got to do. Personally, maybe just honestly, I think if Jason might get some flack for this, but if Jason wasn't doing Diplo, I think this would have been fine. But at the same time, if we were able to just to choose where everyone was going to land, it also really wouldn't be an issue. Because let's say, for example, that us and IMFS swap spots or us and NTS swap spots, Diplo would have been way different, and I could have seen, way better possibilities. But with the map layout, I mean, you're kind of forced to do what you got to do.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I think one of my last ones for you then. Machine Cods wants to know, GreyBallz, how did they let the War Leader machine from UHA yoink a dragon tiny rewards?
I do remember that, bro. That whole hour was hilarious, where they staffed in from the other side because they were behind the dragon and they just staffed over and they just yoinked it. We were so busy fighting at their bridge that we didn't even noticed what happened until they actually captured it, where it said on the top that UHA has stole the dragon. I was like, wait, what? And then we just started bomb rushing to the dragon, trying to recapture it.
Yeah.
It eventually never happened, and it got locked. It got closed, and then we had to do it again when it opened.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean,
But that was pretty funny.
Oh man, I remember covering that and watching the video that someone had sent me. I mean, it was pretty epic.
It's probably one of the best yoinks in to date. I haven't seen anyone do anything like that.
Oh yeah.
So that will still remain in COD history, regardless of how unless someone else does it, they did it first. So it doesn't count.
No man, it was
if you weren't first, you're last, basically.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, listen, man, I'll say this. I don't think anyone's ever going to forget. I think that's a moment, absolutely. I think,
MFD beating EIS for Road League skin is also possibly one of the biggest moments of all time.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, I think to be fair, that probably is number one for me. I don't really know.
Definitely. No,
I don't know what
I
else
remember
you could
being
consider on that level.
I remember listening to the VC and Abda probably about to have a heart attack or something. Bro was hyperventilating.
Yeah.
He was going crazy. I was like, bro, calm down. I was at work, so I couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was pretty funny.
No, man, absolutely. I mean, what I remember for me, why that's number one for me is because of one, how massively epic of a win that was, because literally no one had them winning that. And
yeah, the odds were 1 to 10 in the betting, and I saw some guy cash out a huge amount of coins because he went all in on MFD.
Yeah, no.
So that guy made bank.
Yeah, and I mean, so that happens, and I just remember the Discord blowing up, and that was probably the single day where I saw the most amount of people ever in a Discord VC. I think it got to over 200 or whatever. I mean, it was pretty insane. Yeah,
that got full immediately. A lot of people got banned and muted that day. RIP to my boys.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Dark started mass reporting, going crazy, just reporting any message that was just making fun of EIS, and the mods had to take it down.
Yeah.
Because you can't be calling people out and stuff like that, at least at that moment.
Yeah.
But it is definitely one of the. It's a moment to be momented, basically.
Oh yeah. No, I mean yeah. No, well said. Well said. Well, all right, Grey. I'm going to leave you to it so I can go and get possibly one of your compatriots in here to have a conversation. And then I still got to get to reading some of these Diplo chats. But thank you so much.
He's better bring Ada in.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time and you being willing to come on, man. This has been great.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you joining us.
Yep. See you, chat. We are out.
All right. Take care.
Later.
Go put it in the sink. You're done? Go put it in the sink. In the sink. Go put it in the sink. And then wipe your face. Okay. All right, fam. We got another interesting soul that we are going to try and bring on just to kind of get their take on the KvK 1. And I'm sure there will be some possibly shots fired here in a moment. So bear with me while we go ahead and bring in a lost soul. Oh God, that felt so good to sneeze. Uh-oh. Is it coming back? No, I'm good. Okay, let me get some water in here. Hello, fine sir.
Hello, I'm the lost soul.
The long lost soul, our old MFD compatriot who stained Dark's eyes forever.
And Jason's.
And just, well, maybe I shouldn't have used that phrasing. That actually sounds a little more grotesque than I was potentially not making it out to be.
Oh, hell nah, bro.
But, oh, you're okay, go. Yeah. What are you doing? No, I told you to go put it in the sink. Oh, you want to leave it? No, go put it in the sink. Go put it on the table. Go on the table. Okay, just don't let Max eat it. Dear Lord, my child. Abner, what's up, man? How we doing?
Doing good, man. It feels good, like quitting,
It feels good.
rather than just only trash talking and rage baiting people. It's
Yeah.
actually a lot of fun.
So I saw a post from you, I think somewhere, that basically said you just kind of came back to hop in the Diplo just to troll IMFS and Jason, and
Yep.
it seems as though, I'm going to be honest, with everything that happened yesterday, it almost feels like you couldn't have scripted it better yourself.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So,
Nah, like I was so happy to see that there's already drama. Like it's amazing, and I just know that it mostly came from like Dark Hill being in like Tomato's ear and stuff like that. So that made my day when I heard about all this stuff.
So again, walk me through. So again, you obviously you're not necessarily involved anymore with MFD, but you still hang out. You're still OG, and
Yeah.
so you get into the Diplo. You're seeing everything transpire. You see the first agreement that's made, and then things obviously start to devolve. When
No. I was there before anything was like done. Like I was
Okay.
invited immediately at like 7:20, or sorry, like 0:20 UTC.
Okay.
Because I saw everyone in voice chat. I'm like, you know what? I got some free time. I'll jump in MFD voice chat and hang out with them and stuff. So Gray invited me, and then the first message I sent was left versus right. So like us NXW and WB, because that was the only matchup that was possible. So that was like my first message once I joined.
Yeah.
Was suggest that matchup.
Ah, okay. Okay, gotcha. So you see everything unfold. I guess from your perspective, leading up to that first agreement on the matchup. Again, I know we heard from Mr. T from Hunt. We just heard from GreyBallz, who's MFD now. You get in there, you see everything. Did everything to you feel, pretty copacetic as far as up to that first agreement? Like, was there anything that really stood out, or no? Like everything was pretty normal. Everything seemed like it was fine. There really wasn't any road bumps.
No, there was a ton of road bumps.
Okay.
Tons of road bumps. Basically, like the whole time between like 0 UTC, or like once I got in there until the agreement was made, was like me just like roasting the heck out of like Jason and TFS and stuff, and like rage baiting them, because they wanted like a Diplo win strategy. So as soon as I caught on that like Jason just wants to win the KvK easily, in Diplo win, I was just like, all right, I'm not gonna let that happen. So I did like everything in my power to make sure that they did not get their desired matchup, because they wanted to do TFS, NXW, and WB, and that's literally a guaranteed win. So yeah, as soon as they said that, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna let that happen. So then, I was typing for like 3 hours straight, and then we ended up agreeing to the left versus right.
Okay.
But once that agreement was made, then it was like, okay, like it's gonna happen and stuff. But yeah, like Jason tried like 4 different times to dodge that matchup. Like he originally said that he would not ally Dark no matter what, and then he said that he would ally Dark like worst case scenario. And then he said that everyone should jump in voice chat so he can hash it out. And then he tried convincing people to do the duck game to determine the diplomacy. So all those failed, and then we ended up agreeing to the left versus right.
We'll go get it. Okay. Okay. So you get to this left versus right resolution. You guys get this first matchup kind of solidified. Did you? I guess obviously from you kind of being, I guess obviously a little in with everything. You felt good about that matchup being decided with how it ended.
100% means that there's a good final zone fight. Any other matchup, it does not matter how you spin it. There's not going to be a final zone fight. Because basically, what TFS was trying to say, right, is like if they allied NXW and WB, they could just make an agreement that they wouldn't invade MFD's Zone 3, and then that automatically makes Final Zone competitive, and it doesn't, because MFD would be in between NXW and WB, and it would be the exact same thing as the Echo 25IL NTS season, where NTS just doesn't even make it out into the final or into the Dragon Zone at all, because they just get focused and locked down. And in that, it was literally left versus right too. So now, like, imagine like these T4s positioned in between WB and NXW. So we would be completely useless in Final Zone 2. And then no matter like any of the other matchups, something like that would happen. So it was just impossible. So the only way to have like a good Final Zone fight, which that's what you're looking for in KvK1, is a crazy Final Zone fight. Because you want to see everyone fight at the same place. You don't really care about 1v1s as much as the 3v3. So left versus right was the only way to, guarantee chaos in Final Zone. So, and with that Final Zone fight, there's no like guaranteed winner either. Like the TFS side has an advantage, but it doesn't mean that they automatically won. So that's what people want to watch.
Do you think? Because again, I suggested this, which is obviously something we've seen other kingdoms do in some of the other KvK groups, and my thought was, well, instead of limiting yourself to like this north versus south or this west versus east, or you feeling like, okay, well, the matchup that we decided on now has to be universally applied throughout all the zones, why not just opt to do some kind of free-for-all, but maybe you just pick the most favorable matchups on the zone 2s, you do some kind of fighting in the zone 3, you figure that out to what extent, and then you just do kind of a, whether you want to call it a re-Diplo, or you basically take your main Diplo and you use that for the FZ. And then if you need to, you put some stipulations in and you say, okay, well, just make sure at least at minimum everyone has a guaranteed pass, even if it's at least one into the final zone. And then you say, okay, well, once the FZ opens, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 days, or if you just organically push your opponent back, and then you get to push through their level 5 pass to their zone 3, whatever happens first, why not opt to potentially do something like that to get around the whole? Because my stance was that I felt that people, this is the video I talked about today, it felt that some of these KvKs were handicapping themselves, because the moment they did Diplo, they automatically applied that Diplo across every zone, instead of looking at it where really what that Diplo is for final zone. But some people will just automatically apply it to every zone, thinking, well, because we did Diplo, this now has to be applied to every zone, when they don't realize they can do whatever they want. If they want to get the most fights, they can talk amongst themselves and agree essentially to whatever. I mean, do you think doing something like that, or even going another route, would have been better than them? Because to me, it just feels like they did the Diplo and then they just took it as is and applied it to everything, and that ended up being a factor for why things,
The issue with that is that it's two-staged, and people want to know what KvK they're getting into before it actually starts. And then also, if you were to do that, then people can't resource heal in zone 2, because you don't even know who your allies are going to be in final zone. So you can't even resource heal in zone 2. Because if you are, then you're basically throwing the season for your future potential allies.
Well, the thing is, you wouldn't know.
At the end of the day, it's about winning in the end. So
yeah. No, universally, I can understand that. I mean, ideally, the thing is that you would know technically who you would be working with, because you would still have your main Diplo for the end. You would just say, okay, well, for zone 2 and zone 3, let's just figure something out, right? So we can get the most amount of fights possible leading up to the main.
I mean, that already happens though. That already happens in most top KvKs, where they already work out like those agreements of like fighting against each other's allies and stuff. But like in this KvK, it's just not possible.
It did in this one.
Well, in this KvK, it's not possible with how the allies are. Like you're gonna. Like, why would we ask NXW or WB to fight us in zone 2 instead of like an actual opponent? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I guess there is that. like we can fight them like when Zone 3 opens because there's not going to be any fighting. Nobody's going to be able to push into another Zone 3. That's impossible at this level.
Hmm.
So then we could fight next year. We could fight WB on the side. But until then, like it literally makes no sense to tell them, hey, we want friendly fights instead, so fight us.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the same thing can happen regardless, though, because you could just have one deny. You could just have someone deny getting any Zone 2 fights if they just didn't want to go in regardless. And then,
Yeah.
And then obviously you could go into Zone 3, get whatever you need out of Zone 3, but then don't put up a fight at all, and then you deny them again. I guess just, and this isn't to say like, right, there's not any good resolutions, but I think my point overall is it feels like this would at least have potentially solved. And again, I'm talking about based on where things are at now, right? Like we understand the fact that MFD and Hunt probably shouldn't have been in KvK 1 and it should have been someone else. Or
well, the idea was good. The
intentions.
bad. Yeah. So like, like I recommended this exact situation to the devs and the dev call that I had with them back in September or December or whatever it was, is putting like a very strong A or like a pretty strong A matched up with like a top B kingdom, and then putting that in top KvK because that's what Rise of Kingdoms does, and it works out really well. Like if MFD had Milk as our ally instead, then it's like, okay, we're actually one of the strongest pairings in this KvK. Like we could potentially fight like NXW, like anyone in this KvK, we could fight if Milk was our ally instead of Hunt or whatever. So like the idea was good, but they just picked the wrong A. So it is what it is. But I do want to see more of that for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, like basically YSS right now are just bluffing, and they're just saying, oh, we're going free for all because they're trying to pull like a temper tantrum and stuff and ease their members a little bit from yelling at them. But in the end, they're going to ally TFS and NTS for Final Zone. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely.
They have no choice.
I see. It definitely feels that way, just given the idea that, you know, when I guess even if you just rationally think about it, it almost feels like it would be, I guess to a degree, either near suicide, depending on the worst case scenario for them, if they were to hold and basically take that stance throughout the entirety of the KvK, because then it just feels like what could potentially happen to them would feel like what is most likely going to end up happening with OPB and LND and KvK 6.
Cal want to invest in that group? Like, why would Cal want to keep funding people? Why would people want to stay in YSS if they're actually going to do a free-for-all and not get any fights? Because, like, what I told TFS and NTS is like, okay, like, they did that, cool, just put 3 Bastions at a level 5 pass and they can't push you. So they're not even going to get any fights anyways. So, yeah, like, in their position, the only fights they're going to get is in Final Zone anyways. So when that's the case, they have to ally TFS and NTS prior to Final Zone. So that will 100% happen. And if they don't, then say goodbye to YSS.
Interesting. So you
that's
actually,
not like a possibility, that's a guarantee.
So you think that if it goes in the worst case scenario and they either get zone locked or they just get denied a massive amount of fights, or they can't get push zone locked against their opponents in this case.
No, they're making it to Final Zone no matter what. NTS and TFS won't push them. So they're making it to Final Zone no matter what. They're going to get 2 Zone 2s for free, but they're not going to get any fighting. So like,
so it's more about them being deprived then, essentially, like where if they don't feel
they're going to be deprived of fighting regardless, no matter what. So we're not renegotiating Diplo. So
that's my point. So you feel like if they literally don't get any fights or any meaningful fights for any kind of sustained long period or decent amount of time, that would end up negatively impacting them, where they might lose some people or something else might happen.
What's the point of going free for all in Final Zone? That makes no sense whatsoever. So they're gonna ally TFS and NTS in the end. It's just a matter of time, and once they decide to stop being a bunch of crybabies.
Okay. Well, you heard the declaration here first, fam. We'll have to keep a close eye. I for one will be very interested. I think for me, it very much feels like KvK 2 for me is now KvK 1, with just how well.
That's always been the case.
Yeah, with how well they did their Diplo, and I mean, again, just speaking to a couple people over there that I had a chance to talk to Doom, Captain. I mean, even I think 1 or 2 people from Milk I spoke to, and it was just so refreshing. And I know you've been a part of some of these KvKs, obviously from your time in Rock or your time
I
in
was
COD, where
part of
it's like things
KvK2
just go so
multiple times.
well, and you're just so happy with how the Diplo played out. And it's like everyone's hyped, everyone's looking forward to it. But then you get to the KvK1, and it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's like the KvK1 curse. I couldn't even tell you
It's not a curse. It's
the last time.
like just reality.
Yeah.
So KvK1 has two problems. One is people have beefs for over 3 years and they don't forget about it for some reason, even though it's a video game. And then number two, the power differentials are just so big between the top alliance and then the sixth alliance in these KvKs that it unbalances the KvK so much. So like when you have people trying to Diplo win against each other because they hate other people so much, and then you pair that with just alliances that are not supposed to be there, it's never going to result in good matchmaking or fights. So that's why KvK2 will always be the best until the devs restrict top kingdoms to being like 25 billion power or something. If once they restrict kingdoms capacity to be 25 billion power, you're going to have KvK1, you're gonna have KvK2, and you're gonna have KvK3 all be 3 to 25 billion power kingdoms, and it's gonna be amazing. And there's gonna be so many different matchups and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be cool once they do that. But until then, KvK1 is gonna be terrible. I think there's only been like 2 KvK1s that I can like remember from like the last 12 seasons that were actually like interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me it's a handful that I could even recall that were just not god awful and were somewhat tolerable. And it's funny that you mentioned the cat portion, because I when I interviewed Jason, this was a little bit of a decent bit of our interview at the New York City meetup that we talked about, which was the idea of, and I proposed this to him. I said, what do you think if they were to lower the cap? Like the fact that it's just so high, if they lowered it, that would allow for a lot of redistribution of power in a more appropriate and responsible way to be happen. We'd have a lot more competitive top KvKs. He liked it. I threw out like 25 bill, similar to you, and he even went as far as saying, we should probably lower it to 20 bill. But it seems as though at least there is some cohesive thinking amongst some kings and queens at the top, where there are some similar thoughts on this matter. And it feels like this could be a good direction and a good change if they want to apply some level of course correct to what feels like is something that's getting out of control.
Yep. But the biggest issue is troopflation too. That affects it a lot. So 20 billion power is too low because troopflation exists. There's no way in CallofDragons to kill your own troops. And they made it so that you can now recover like 95% of your troops or whatever it is, or 90%. So like people are never going to drop power. So when that's the case, like, I mean, I already know a free-to-play dude that's like 180 mil. I'm like, bro, because he just pushed GH for like 50 mil and he was saving for like a year and a half.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like, this guy is almost 200 million power and he's free to play and he gets like 12 million merits a season. I'm like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, these players exist. So yeah, but 25 bill would be ideal. And then obviously it's going to have to gradually go up according to like people's troop amounts and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah. Well, the reason why is because my approach for it was looking at it as more of, instead of the whole, I felt like one of the benefits here of lowering the kingdom power cap was kind of twofold. One, it would help with redistributing power, but two, it could also potentially change the general landscape that we see amongst top KvKs, where it very much feels kind of like a top 1% filler. It's a ladder climb, and people want to try and work their way in so they can have their top 1% from other kingdoms going to join the cream of the crop already. And instead, it almost feels like it'd be nice if the approach was more of saying something to the effect of, well, we have 10 players at a certain high power tier, and these are kind of more of our rally leads or garrison captains, etc. And then you're filling it out, right, with more of your mid top players, low tops, and then you're able to work in a lot more free to plays and low spends too as well, to where you can potentially have more than 200-300 players in a kingdom, right? If they just had a little bit more power distribution for the total player counts in kingdoms, and that would help.
Right, like the devs can't implement something to make that the case, but alliances will be forced to do that because they don't have a lot of power to work with. Like they'll have, like, for example, like 120 slots or something, and they got to figure out how they want to build that out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on and sharing. Anything you'd like to leave us with?
I look forward to seeing Jason and Darkhill make out at the end of the season. That's about it.
Okay. I mean, I think we all are, to be fair. Any any hopes of you eventually coming back?
We'll see. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Maybe. Oh no, I already got it. No, I already have it. I already have your grand re-entrance, like The Rock coming back to WWE. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right, now I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now the perfect moment for you to come back. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Because to me, this would blow this would blow it all up. You come back for Row League Season 2 when they go global versus China, and you upset like a top Chinese team.
That would be cool, but no matter what, September is like the earliest I can be back. So
Okay.
I don't think the timeline will work out, but if it's after September, then I'm down for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Awesome. And just so you guys know, man, I called it here first.
Yes, sir.
Hang on. Before you go, any questions? Any questions for Abda? Before we say adieu. Let me see what we have here. Hang on. Nippert asked, "What are your thoughts on GreyBallz having, my dear God, a love relationship with Pepe?"
I support it. I ship them. For sure.
Oh God. I mean, clearly there are
100%.
There are thoughts.
It's a beautiful relationship right there.
That's a beautiful relationship. Oh God. Well, at least Nipper's consistent.
Yep.
Here, we'll take. Oh, what? Oh, you want some more now? Oh, this or no? Okay, no. Okay. Up. Okay. Oh. Let's get you back up here, kiddo. Nipper says, "I'm cooked when Pepe finds out I've been saying this." Okay. Well, I think that's probably it then for us that we got. But
sounds good.
Abda, thank you so much, man. As always, man. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us and sharing your thoughts.
Absolutely. Been a pleasure.
All right,
Take care, bro.
Yeah, you too. Later, broski. All right, fam. We are out there. Let's re-get some jams going on. Now we can finally go ahead and look at some of these KvK Diplo chats here that was shared. So this should be good. I'm actually pretty excited for this one. Let me see. Only a little bit. We're not going to give you a lot. There you go. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Mia! Wait. Mia! I don't know what she's doing. They told her to go brush her teeth. All right. Just had to let the kiddo know she needs to go brush and floss and hit the sack because it's already 10. It's a little bit past her Betty Bye time. So we got to get that squared away. All right, I want to go through some of this chat. I'm just going to scroll through. I'm going to try and read this pretty quick here. Okay, so this is the very first screen from what Gun showed off. And he says, Kingdom Come, this is from YSS. This is a statement we are looking for and asking for, but somehow the answer given was directed from its own. To be clear, option 1, count all merits, give YSS 600 mil bonus because you do not fight. Option 2, only count final zone merits, but YSS gets a deduction in merits to compensate for other players fighting. Okay, the question is, if we choose option 2, how much of a deduction? Okay, count all merits, give YSS 600 mil bonus because you do not fight. Okay, so this is my thing, right? I want to know first and foremost how they arrived at the specific amount of merits that they feel equals out to 600 mil. Because so this is how I would do it. If you're going to try and figure this out, and maybe Jason explained this, maybe someone else explained this before, but this is how I would look at calculating merits. I would look at YSS over the past 3 seasons, and I would average out what were their total amount of merits gained throughout the entire season. Right now, yes, you can also factor in that for some of the recent, not the recent, but some of the later seasons, they were not in G2. So you can kind of apply a little weighting if you want. But at least for the kingdoms that they were in G2, for the time they were in G2, you can look at those seasons, which I think was 1 or 2 ago. And you would look at, okay, well, what were the amount of merits that they accumulated, right, throughout the season? And then you could divide that by the amount of active players and figure out how many merits on average each person got. You could even pull scans from the beginning of the season to when, because the data exists out there, right? So my point is you could even look at it and say, well, from when Zone 2 opened to Zone 3, from Zone 3 to Final Zone, and then, you know, maybe for the first week of the FZ being open, right? So you could look at it like that. And then you could figure out, okay, well, here's the average of what their average Zone 2, average Zone 3 performance has been. Here's what their Final Zone performance has been. So you could come up with an idea. You could also compare other kingdoms around their level and see what they performed if you're trying just to kind of establish a baseline or a trending line. And then you can kind of go from there if you need to apply any weighting. But my point is that this is like not a difficult thing to figure this out. Maybe that's what they did. Maybe they did something else. But to me, it almost feels like that would have helped if there would have been a little bit of an explanation. So 600 mil Kingdom comes with merit trades, yes. If counting Zone 2 until -7 days before end of KvK, correct. Okay, so 600 mil and with merit trades. Interesting. Wow. So they're going to give them 600 mil plus the merit trades. I prefer taking option 1, but this has to be agreed upon by YSS. I mean, interesting. Okay, I think we will go with option 2, with YSS taking a 300 million merit deduction. No offense to option 1, but even if we win Dragon through merit trading, it doesn't feel right to me. It's not the kind of win I'm aiming for. I mean, that at least seems respectful. That's the issue we do not. That's the issue we do not agree with. A 300 mil reduction. Your officers propose that number, and we all think that is severely too low compared to the fighting we will be doing all season. Mana, we are using time, dead, take. Okay, give us a number that works. That is a lot higher. Oh, I see. So they want the reduction number to be higher because they think that they're going to earn, because they think that if YSS comes in fully healed and IMFS takes at least one main zone fight, that, which again, if you just assume it's going to be the Zone 2, then there's a good chance that because YSS will be fully healed and stocked, that they'll blow past 300 mil merits. I guess that's the logic there. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense because obviously FZ is where you see the most amount of merits gained. In most cases, it can usually be in the billions. I don't think that there's ever been kind of a low or an unanticipatedly high expectation for PvP in top KvKs where you're going to see maybe that low of merits. So I guess I could understand something like that. But I mean, you still would have to go and look at, which again, you could look at data to support this. Like, this is not a difficult thing to do again. Okay, let me see. Did we move this at all? Let's see here. Okay, we're using time data. We take 300 mil as an appropriate number. How much could be considered an appropriate number? And again, I just want to point out that I love how they're asking this question of how much could you consider as an appropriate number when, to be fair, you know, it's just, my point is like, why is this so difficult to go in, to not go, or to not even think of going and doing some research just to even say like, hey, here's like a conservative number as an example. I guess to me, it just kind of feels like they're throwing numbers out of their arses, so to speak. And that isn't to say that, you know, there's not any sense of logic behind the number that's being thrown out, but it just feels like if you actually had something to show for it, it would be a lot easier for people to accept and or digest. Council says, BN this season has insane amount of free elixir with YSS, which YSS will be stacking for Final Zone, while other kingdoms are spending it, draining out. And again, and I understand that, Council. That's my point, is, you know, if you're really going to come out with a number and you think that's the case, then you need to go and do some homework. Like this, that's my point, is that if you're going to throw something out that everyone can rally and get behind, it's got to be something that's backed up with at least some level of data, which, to be fair, the data is out there. You can inflate, you can even wait and say, okay, well, because you're going to get so much free elixir, etc., whatever else you want to factor into, that's fine. But you can go and figure this out. That's my point, right? Like if I had some time, I could go back and look at scans. I could go back and figure this out and maybe we'll do that in another stream, right? Or maybe we'll go do that, because we can do that. We can go and look at what YSS's last 3 seasons were for where they ended in merits. We might even be able to look and compare what their zone in-betweens were. This is also one of those things, like I want to point this out, dude, like I love the fact that this is something that is so important, or that basically came down to a level of importance between these two kingdoms that ultimately factored in to the breakup, because this is the kind of data that I want to compile on our KvK analytics site. Like I want to be able to show what was the zone 2 performance, what was the zone 3 performance, what was the final zone performance. Like this is stuff that I've talked to Drew about. And just imagine if I was already tracking these stats and we already had all this stuff set out from like global release. I mean, just think about how awesome that would be to be able to take a conversation that's happening in a KvK1 and say, oh, you know what? We can actually look that up. We actually know what that is. We can come up with an average, right? And that's what I hope, right? The KvK analytics site will eventually be something for. So I know that's kind of one of the things I'd love to be able to work on eventually. I know I've already talked to that about Drew. But yeah, my point is, like, you know, again, we could figure this out and get somewhat of a ballpark, right? Okay. How much would be considered an appropriate number? 600 mil merit based on the mana used and troops lost. We want each member to be credited with 3 mil merit per person. And then YSS says 600 mil is not going to work. I mean, to be fair, if you're coming in fully healed and, you know, because the thing is, you'd also have to look at, okay, well, what's the average amount of merits that's gained into zone 2? Like, that's one way to look at it as well. You look at what's the average amount of merits in top KvKs that's gained into zone 2 when kingdoms are fighting for at least a couple days or something to that effect, right? Or it's high volume, high intensity PvP. And let's say the amount of merits is a billion. If it is a billion, and I'm just giving an example here, you could effortlessly make the argument that 300 and even 600 million is too low, right? So if that's the case, and then you have YSS, you know, saying that, you know, they wouldn't take a 600 mil merit reduction, you know, that would also feel a bit disingenuous to the efforts that IMFS would be putting out, right? Again, I'm just saying in this scenario, that would be putting out and fighting, you know, to their heart's content out in zone 3. You would also say, okay, well, that feels like that's a little bit of a small number, actually. But that's my point, is that if you just quoted some data and you looked at it, which again, they have to have access to their own data too as well. But my point is just why not go and say, like, look, when we looked at the last number of seasons for KvK 1s and 2s, right, this was the average amount of merits that we had, you know, the kingdoms getting, or this was the range of it, right? And even if you went with a conservative number, I bet you the conservative number would be more than 300 mil. So it's just, you know, so it's, I understand. I can get where Jason's coming from. I can get where IMFS is coming from on that. But my thing is that you got to support that. That's my point, right? Is that it can be difficult for people to digest and to accept when all you're doing is giving them a subject line. All you're doing is making a statement, but you're not supporting that statement, right? And again, that's just where I'm coming from. Okay, let's continue. Okay, to create a fair and competitive 3 KvK, we already sacrificed all fighting opportunities up until FZ. If we don't get a fair chance in FZ, then okay, you feel like the 2-month break for us. It's true that many of our members enjoy fighting, but we gave that up for the bigger picture. If FC ends up being unmotivating, it will be difficult to expect strong activity from our players. So don't think it's easy for us to do just nothing. I mean, to be fair, it almost kind of sounds like there's a little bit of hurdling here for the potential idea of not fighting, or of fighting, but not getting any action until final zone. Did you play this map before, Tomato? Last time 225 played it, we were in the same position as you, and we came to the FZ with almost 20 mil elixir bottle in our pocket. it's a huge advantage against anyone. And see, there you go. Like there's Ghost coming out and actually like dropping some numbers and some stats. Okay, that's fair. It's not about how much elixir we have in our pockets. It's about how long the fights last. The FZ could be over in just 2 days of fighting. I mean, you're not necessarily wrong there either. After the map was fixed, I didn't think it would only take 2 days. Guys, you think if we can control 2 gate for Dragon, we push WB out of last gate in 2 days? Also, with all respect, you're telling me that elixir isn't important, so are you planning to win KvK and take the Dragon without spending a single mana? Is that fair to us? Right now, I just want to focus on zone 2, but you're raising issues that I can't ignore. Okay. Let's see here. And then does he go down a little bit more? It looks like it. And then Franken says, where is it? Yes, control. If you think it was usually last year's final zone will be much longer and longer for sure. Your friend Dark played it with me before, and why don't you ask him about the last time he played it? We played it together. He controlled the gate in 2 days, but he needed to push us far away, and it cost him 1 week. But this season will be significantly less if you're able to save up 20 mil elixir, depending on the villages, etc. That's over 1.2 billion mana per person for person you save for final zone, and you can't tell me your players could only take 1.5 mil merits extra per player with the 300 mil you proposed. I don't need to ask anyone. Has Kiki and KT also played in that KvK? 2 days war after that was poke fighting, and there was no merit advance. There has to be some calculation given to this problem. Just saying a number will likely not satisfy everyone. And again, is this Wongu? Who is this? But I mean, yeah, but I mean, Wongu's speaking some wisdom here, which is right. There has to be a calculation. Which again, like I was saying before, I think some of the other things I mentioned previously are things that you could factor in, right? That I think would help. Should have a plan in place for a potential calculation based on Zone 2 fighting like NTS suggested. The Dragon issue is over a month away. I mean, my man's spitting facts right now. Wongu's coming out and, I knew I liked this guy when I met him in New York. If it doesn't work out, I think we'll re-Diplo to find a better matchup, one that gives everyone more opportunities to fight. And again, this goes back to what I was saying before. It's like a lesser of the two evils, right? Or a better of the two evils in this case, where what I was saying is that you can do something like you just Diplo or you do any kind of fights you want in Zone 2, potentially Zone 3, and then you just have your main Diplo going into the final zone, right? Because the thing is, unless you're going to be able to figure out a 3v3 matchup or a 4v3 matchup or, any sensible, rational matchup that you can think of, if it's not going to satisfy people for Zone 2 fights, then the only other option you really have is to manipulate Zone 2 fights, right? To try and give everyone as much PvP as humanly possible. Otherwise, you're going to feel limited in some regards. Now, obviously, the other approach is that you have to, of course, factor in the Hunt and MFD situation, where I'm sure that kind of throws a wrench not only for them, but for the other kingdoms that are in there as well. If it doesn't, I don't understand why adding 600 mil would have worked for your side, but a 600 mil reduction would not realistically. I would be pretty shocked if it would be possible to re-Diplo at this point. There is not going to be any perfect option here without any bonus or reduction. It is not fair on our side to only count finals on merit, and it's not fair on you to count all merits from Zone 2 open. While yes, you agreed to this Diplo for the health of the KvK, you should remember that there will be a lot of players in NTS and IMFS who will easily spend 1 billion to 2 billion mana alone if they need to for winning Zone 2. If we both lose our Zone 2s because of lack of incentive for players to fight, we're going to lose the KvK in my opinion. So Ryoku's actually spinning some facts here. And I want to point something out. There actually is another option that I don't think anyone has really considered that I now just thought of. And that option is everyone fights, no one quits, and if you fight, you get to put your hat in, you get to put your name in the hat to be randomly drawn and selected for end of season rewards. Think of that. Now you've taken the whole problem and the issues away, where you say, let me give you an example on how this would work, right? The expectation, here, go like this way. The expectation is that what you do is you say, well, everyone has to fight. If you fight fully, then you get to throw your name in the hat. If we win and we beat the other team, then we will randomly draw from this hat or do some kind of randomizer for each end of season reward. That's one way to do it. So this way, everyone has to fight if they want a chance at an end of season reward for their name to be thrown in the hat, and you could do something like that. That's an option, right? But I mean, again, right, it's something that, you obviously have to kind of go off of it's kind of more of like an honor code thing, right, at that point. But, I mean, to be fair, it almost sounds like anything's better than watching this play out, man. Because, I mean, this just feels, respectfully, what this feels like is, it feels like this team came to, like, a debate meetup in college, and all they did was read the Cliff Notes, and there's just like not really, and what I mean by this is that there's just doesn't feel like there's enough supportive evidence that people are bringing in order to just make the decision that much easier for everyone else to get on board with, right? So yeah, I mean, on that front, it is a bit interesting. Let's see here. I don't think so. Even if we both lose zone 2, we'll still have a chance in the final zone because Hunt, MFD, YSS are different. I'm confident we're stronger than them, and our impact in the final zone will be greater. It's the moral aspect as why I say that. Even if we can objectively compare YSS and Hunt, MFD, the first zone of PvP always set up the player morale for a KvK. I mean, Ryuko's actually not wrong here to an extent. Frankly, with all due respect, I don't want us to sit around all day negotiating about 300, 400, 500 mil merits. That's not the important issue right now. And even if we agree on a number, you still need to talk to NTS. Therefore, we want to discuss the specific number after Zone 2 with NTS. If you can't wait, you can find another solution by yourself. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, so feels like this is potentially where maybe some of the devolving happens, huh? Okay, then we will find another solution then. Oh, jeez, and then it's the next post right after. Dear God. Please hurry and find a solution. I would like to have this done and settled within the next few hours. If you cannot come with a solution, then we will be going with the number we proposed, or we will be taking other actions. But this issue cannot continue to go on a conversation over and over. Yeah. Oh boy. Interesting.
Fire.
Okay. York and hi, Jason. I just discussed this with our core team, our forwards, and we held an internal vote. It seems that quite a few members are not very comfortable with the 600 mil, so we feel Rediplo might be a better option in the situation. I'm not sure how the other alliances feel about it yet, but I'll bring it up and see how it goes. And what number are you comfortable with? I could say we want to stick with 300 mil, but that's not really the main point anymore. After 2 hours of discussion with the team, I realized that by sitting out and trading merit, we're taking away the fun of fighting for our members. Our morale already dropped quite a bit after we announced the allies last Sunday, and without real fighting in Zone 2, Zone 3, it's hard for us to keep activity up. That's not good for us. It's not good for our allies either. That's why we decided to rediplo. Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, based on this, yeah, I mean, listen, I can see it from both sides. Like, I get it from how this looks. YSS agreed on the matchup. However, you know what I could almost say for this is that they agreed on the matchup. They agreed on who they were going to team up with. But to me, you know what I really feel like should have been discussed first? What I feel like should have been discussed first is, and I know we're looking at this, hindsight's kind of 2020, but part of me almost feels like, what would have happened if they did discuss? Let me put it like that. Let me frame it like that. What would have happened if they discussed end of season rewards amongst everyone in the group before they made the teams? I almost wonder how that would have played out, just to see like what people would have thrown out. And I say that because what if they were able to come to an agreement on end of season rewards, regardless of who got teamed with who, before they then agreed on teams? But then I guess the same question we could propose is to say, well, would they have ran into some of the same issues? Right? So it's like, because you think to yourself, well, why couldn't they have just resolved the EOS rewards before they did the teams? But then on this other hand, you think to yourself, oh man, didn't the hardest thing just get solved, which is who are we going to team with? And is everyone going to agree to the teams? And then you think, well, man, okay, everyone agreed to the teams. Like, some people probably felt that would have been the hardest challenge. And now it comes down to, okay, well, we should be able to figure this out, man. Like, we got teams, everyone's Gucci at this point. Why can't we figure out how EOS rewards are going to go? And if you can't agree immediately, maybe you need to wait and see how Zone 2 plays out and then go from there. On the same end, yeah, I see it from the other team side, which is the IMFS NTS side potentially as well with them, is that yeah, man, I mean, YSS agreed to team up with them, but now all of a sudden they want to re-Diplo. I mean, to be fair, it's not like they're just coming out and saying we want to re-Diplo. There is some level of reasoning to it because they don't agree with how and keep in mind, this isn't to say that I support YSS's decision, but I understand where they're coming from. Because part of me feels like if it was another kingdom and they were in a similar situation and they felt like they were getting gypped based on what the matchup was, who's to say that another kingdom in YSS's position wouldn't have the same reaction? So I can understand it from that perspective, even though I don't agree with the exiting the team or wanting to re-Diplo, especially when you essentially gave your word and you agreed to the matchup initially. What you should have said is, right, before you agreed to the matchup, what you should have done is ask them, how are you going to do end of season reward distribution? Like, even if you said, yeah, I agree, I tentatively agree, or I have a soft agree on the matchup, but I want to know how they're going to do end of season rewards first before I lock this in. That would have been fine because you would have said it before. And that probably would have been the appropriate time as well to bring that up and have that conversation, which again should be a lesson learned and a fantastic educational opportunity for anyone that's going into a KvK in the future. If you feel like that can be a problem, either have a discussion with all the kingdoms there beforehand, or once you feel like the teams potentially look good and you think this is a team you could go with, have that conversation with them before you full on commit. And that would have solved it. Either of those two options would have solved it before they said yes. I completely understand. Can you then bring it up, please, on the server as soon as possible since the season is starting shortly? Thank you much for your understanding, bro. Let's bring this up. Okay. Let me see. What else? There we go. Oh, the server bring it up here. Okay. KT comes in. Da, da, da. Okay, so nothing really happening there. Let's see. Option 1. What do we got? Option 1, 600 mil to YSS starting from zone 2. Option 2, -3 YSS. Okay, are we open to negotiate? Negotiators are we expected to just answer yes or no options? I'm not sure how intense FZ will be, but I think 300 mil handicap in option 2 is reasonable. When I spent my last season in Rage, we negotiated final zone EOS rewards with EIS and WB, and we finished the season without applying any handicap. In the end, Rage only lost to EIS about 200 mil merits. Oh, interesting. So see, there you go. Like, I mean, look, man, KT, you know, I don't know if Unk, that means he's from Unk News, but I mean, at least my man's coming in with something. YSS is the farthest in the battlefield in final zone. IMFS equals 600 mil, YSS 300, so we 400. How about 400 noob? Oh, I don't know if he shows off anything else. Let me see. What's this? Okay, no, it doesn't look like anything. Oh, I see. So it looks like he continues here. Okay, here we go. Hi, Jason. It's sad, but we couldn't re-Diplo. It's sad, but we couldn't re-Diplo. Yeah, okay. Wonku says the main problem is just not going up to 400 to 500 mil merits. Low give and take. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I can agree there where it's like, yeah, man, you might have to sacrifice a little bit. But I mean, like Gun said, right? If it's really just over 1 amber and or any other, you know, minute rewards, you know, why is it that massively big of a deal? Isn't the more important thing you getting your members as much PvP and fighting as humanly possible and having a good showing, and more importantly, a good respectful showing? And I apply that to everyone, not just to YSS. To me, that feels like that's the more important aspect and the more important part. Am I crazy for saying that? Is that some kind of hot take? I don't think so. Again, I mean, listen, unless I'm oblivious, and there are some massive, there's like some incomprehensible reward, end of season reward tier comparisons that I'm not aware of that are just so ridiculously meaningful to get, you know, between what the end of season rewards distribution would be out of essentially one of those 3 options, or at least the main 3 options, right, that we typically hear about, then I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one beyond, I don't know. I mean, does it feel a little silly? I mean, in one way, it kind of feels like it to me. Okay, we cannot agree to 300 mil merit. That is unreasonable. We can negotiate, but 300 is not okay. You're doing it again, Jason. Contradicting statements. There was no contradiction. I literally said the same thing 59 times at this point. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Jason has been pretty consistent so far. Initially, I said stay at 600 is fair. However, if you cannot agree to that, I am willing to negotiate, but I'm not willing to come down to 300. Okay. Okay. Let me see. No, okay, you were doing okay. I initially said okay. Copy. Okay, we gotta go a little farther, I think. Does he go a little bit farther? Oh, he does. Wait, hang on, we gotta find the next break. Okay, I'm a VC with KT. I came down to 500. Then we will just do our own thing solo until. I mean, to be fair, I mean, listen, man, respect for Jason, right? And you know, for at least being willing to negotiate and be flexible to a degree. I mean, this actually isn't bad. Then we will just do our own thing solo until we have other options. Oh, until we have other options. Jeez, why does that sound like a threat? Solo doesn't guarantee you zone 2 fighting. Just to be clear, you are not willing to negotiate or move from 300, correct? I mean, to be fair, that does feel a little disingenuous. And I only say that because if Jason's willing to negotiate a bit and try to compromise or meet in the middle somewhere, I think it would only be fair for YSS to negotiate a bit. And we're not saying you have to, you know, make some kind of massive negotiation move, but at least showing some good faith, especially when the other side is trying to show some good faith. Again, I'm just saying that's how it looks. I don't know everything that was said before. I can only go off of what I'm reading now. Didn't you want this current Diplo too? Just, oh, Fluffy comes in. Understood. We will not accept that, especially if you are not willing to negotiate. If you just go solo, we wish you the best in the season. Okay, currently I'm not because it hurts more. Yep, so going solo helps. No, I mean, wanted to Diplo YSS and TSI MFS from, oh, looks like what, from the start? Let's see this here. Oh, from the beginning. You should have thought about that in the initial Diplo conversations when we brought it up. You as king of YSS agreed and stated YSS will have no issues not fighting until FZ. I mean, to be fair, if that was the case and they said that, then yeah, you could put that on YSS. And the fact is that if they're bringing that up, if they didn't bring that up as a reason for wanting to re-Diplo, that'd be different. But if they did bring it up as a reason for wanting to re-Diplo, which they did, then yeah, that obviously becomes a massive contradiction to what you initially said. And that just makes you seem like you either lied or you're untrustworthy or you're going back on your word. Generally speaking, that doesn't feel like that's a good look. And again, I don't, you know, I haven't sat here and had, you know, conversations with people from YSS, but, you know, just looking at it like that from an outsider looking in objectively, I feel like I could at least surmise that much. IMFS, please, no one talk until I finish with tomato side comments and etc. Helpful, please. So initially when Diplo was brought up, you were informed you would not be able to fight until Dragon Zone, and it was you who pushed for this left versus right and said it would be okay not fighting. I'm offering you to compromise and negotiate, so if you want this team to work, then please do the same. If you are not willing to negotiate, our talks can end here, and we wish you the best in the season. My recommendation for the future, please consider talking to your offer. I love how listen, man, I love Fluffy. Fluffy's the homie. But I just want to point out that I love how Jason said, IMFS, please no one talk until I finish with tomato side comments and etc. Not helpful, thank you. Fluffy Waffles enters the chat. Now, hang on. You know, maybe I should. Isn't Fluffy in IMFS, or am I tripping on that? I should have probably double checked that before I said anything. Fluffy's in that, right? It's him and Guns, or am I tripping? Okay, no, okay, I think I'm right, because one good just said it was like a 10-second difference. That shit was funny. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm on board then on that. Okay, I thought for a second he might not have been. I just want to double check. So yeah, the fact that Fluffy said it right after, just, I mean, to be fair, maybe he was typing, if you give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he was typing and he just finished his type and then posted and then he read Jason's message, right? To be fair, right? Can everyone shut up, please? Let only Jason talk. YSS said no negotiating console. We've already sent our offer, which at least gives me and I remember some confidence in the competition. We've already sacrificed the fun of fighting. So I want to point out that I like how Franken, and maybe this is just me, but Franken comes out and says, we've already sacrificed the fun of fighting. To be fair, and I'm just going to say this respectfully, you haven't sacrificed shit. Because the season hasn't started yet. So you haven't had the opportunity to sacrifice anything. I mean, let's just be real. Like, you have, not fictitiously, right? You have, vicariously, no, God, what's the word I'm looking for? You have on paper. You have on paper sacrificed, but you haven't actually sacrificed. So, listen, again, this isn't anything against Franken as a person. I'm only going to comment on the words that were spoken. But to be fair, you haven't sacrificed anything yet. I get that you feel like you have, but you haven't done anything yet. Now, if you would have, now you could have made this comment if you did actually sacrifice, and then you came back to the table and said, look, we did sacrifice for you. Then that would have been fair to say. I just want to point out, like, I like how, I don't even know if the like is the right word. I do find it a little funny because it's almost like, yo, are we at the end of the season already? And, you know, I'm just like, am I not seeing that? Or, and again, maybe he just didn't think about the word choice going through. And I understand where he's coming from and probably what he meant, but other people might interpret that differently. Right? That's my point. So it won't work for us if we don't even have a fair chance to compete in the Dragon Zone. You should not have a fair chance of competing for Dragons since you are not putting an equal portion to the season. Both NTS and IMFS are fighting all season, sacrificing our time, mana, and deads to ensure we win the season. Okay. Now, I mean, my thing is, right, I could potentially push back on that for what Jason said. And I could say, well, you know, what if they redid the Diplo and now TFS was the side that was sitting out? Right? And again, I'm not saying Jason's coming from that angle. I'm just saying, you know, it's always good to kind of flip the horse on its head or put someone else in that position, right, to look at it from the other side as well. Fighting all season, right, which again isn't to say that what he's saying here is wrong, right? He is right in what he's saying, you know, based on what the matchup is. To ensure we win the season, while you farm, hence you coming in with a handicap. You will be coming into the FZ healthy, stocked elixir, stocked mana, and etc. Which you could also make the argument you would expect YSS to put in the most work, right? And I think that's kind of the idea of the handicap and why they even brought that up is because they would anticipate YSS having the best performance and the highest activity going into, and the longest amount of fighting that could last going into the final zone, right? That's the expectation that would be coming from IFS and NTS is you're coming in fully healed. You should be putting in more work than the rest of us, especially if we've had kind of a full zone 2 fight, right? Or any other fighting prior to zone 3 or to final zone, right? And I get that. And saying that our time and money energy is only worth 1.5 million per player from your side is borderline disrespectful. To be fair, I mean, that is because, you know, we have the data to support that. And you can see a lot of top KvKs, right, where the majority of their players are hitting at least 10 mil merits, right? If not 5 mil. So like, yeah, 1.5 mil does feel a bit disrespectful. We have offered you a 6 mil handicap, 3 mil per player from a 200 player alliance, and in VCA came down to 500. However, if no wiggle room and you're not willing to negotiate with your allies that you wanted, then we do not need to continue to speak. I will not allow you to say our players are more valuable than either of ours and give you basically an easy out to getting EOS without putting in as much or even close to the same effort as the rest of us. And if you wanted a fair chance at Dragon, you should have never said you were okay with fighting until FZ. I mean, to be fair, he is right there, right? That was your decision, no one else's. I mean, yeah, listen, man, he's calling a spade at this point. You know, if it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, I mean, it's a duck. Yeah. Let's see. Did they do anything else here? We've offered, oh, hang on, let me go here. We've offered, oh yeah, zone 2. We offered 2 options. Okay, and people with RSS heal, people will use elixir RSS heal, depending on the fighting. If it is needed, yes, our players will be healing in zone 2, but do whatever is needed to win. NTS drained WB before final zone. Same with IMFS. Think y'all change with NTS and fought WB to drain them before the final zone. Same scenario. Yeah. Wangu, he scrolls up to the trash comments. Oh, is that what's going to come up? Okay. We'll step out of the chat for now to give the other lines some space to discuss plans and other matters. Thank you for your time, Jason. Is this you stating you were going solo 100%, or are we still in talks? For now, yes. You can, I wonder if this is kind of what Abda was saying earlier, right? Which is the whole, like, for now, yes. Meaning they're going to go solo, but, you know, maybe that'll change. So, yeah. Understood. Thank you for your time. Wish you all the best in season. Please remove all YSS. Okay, so Ryoko was doing it. I love how Jason says, let me know when YSS is gone so we can speak freely. That's good. Oh, is this the trash surge? Oh, no. Okay. They're kicked. I'm stuck at vet. Okay, give him NTS roll, please. So everything don't want to read Diplo. We will talk things best we can. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. That's just basically him pinging Mark. Oh, hang on. Is this where he ends up going back to the chat though to bring up the trash stuff? Oh, is this it here? Did he type it in? Oh no, I didn't see he typed anything in. Oh, this was something else. Mark says, from our point of view, we are discussing the thing which can create more problems than solve. Our opponent is strong, very strong. Our victory isn't guaranteed at all. We need to focus on thinking how to win now, win with them, how effectively spread RSS, healing, dead infantry, etc. Instead of thinking how to count NASTi's rewards, which are not ours yet. We can come back to this topic after one day of war in Zone 2, after we see things in real are happening. I mean, listen, man, again, you know, again, I'm not mad at Mark for this. I mean, because, you know, I've talked to Mark a couple times. You know, from Mark's perspective, you know, Mark is very straight to the point. Like he's in some cases similar to Jason in the regards where he probably doesn't want the diplomacy to drag on longer than it needs to. And he is also of the mindset where he probably doesn't think it needs to be that difficult to figure it out. So, but at the same time, Mark's also like, well, look, man, we'll just kind of go with the flow. Which, I mean, again, it's dope to have an ally, especially in a top kingdom that you know is going to perform. So, I mean, it's just, yeah, man. I mean, Mark is just cool, as cool as a cucumber, man. I mean, like, what else do you expect? You know, I mean, NTS has been super consistent, you know, basically since their inception. I agree with Mark. While we want to try and get this all planned out, the season hasn't even started yet. We need to see how the Zone 2s go to get a gauge on how the season could play out. Also, we should relatively have free build time in Zone 3, which can be the time we get into the nitty-gritty of discussion and the season rewards. I mean, again, and I think that's fine too. I just think that you need to have some kind of a layout. At least have a blueprint for options you're considering, and just make sure that's public, that's out on the table, right? If you're going to say, well, let's see how the Zone 2s are going to play out first. Now, obviously, that is dependent on if YSS is even going to agree to that, but at least it is an option that you can present. And to me, it almost feels like it would have been, it almost feels like in some regards, maybe it would have been better if NTS or Mark would have spoken up and either agreed with Jason or would have just stated their viewpoint on the options. Yeah, I guess they did technically, right? Even if they didn't specifically say what options they agree with or whatnot, but maybe they would have if it eventually came to that, right? After the Zone 2. So I mean, it very well could have happened there too. Oh, you want to get up? Okay, go. I'm almost done. And then we're going to go to sleep. Let me see if your mom hit me up here. No, she hasn't. So plenty of time. And my daughter literally just got done tearing up a napkin. Fantastic. This is, I mean, that's exactly what I look forward to, you know, on a daily basis. Yeah, jeez. Lord Almighty. This was it. Okay, only response. Okay, let's see here. I want to see if they added him again. We're pretty much almost done. I don't think that there's too much here unless we can see where Guns did the search. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Oh, I think he just did it. I think he did the search. Let's see. So here we go. I hope we don't have any misunderstandings here. Let YSS discuss real quick, and we will come back to you shortly. Sorry, Tomato is sleeping now. It's Anna, can we have the talk when he is up, or we set a time for everyone? Oh, okay, I like that. So at least someone said something. You're his officers, and you and Warden have been speaking this long. Might as well continue. It's late for Ghost as well, and he is here. Or I am here to speak, but I'm not accepting a 300 mil deduction at the same value as our mana, our deads, our time in Zone 2 fighting to secure the season win while you all sit and do nothing till Dragon. Come back with an appropriate number or do not come back at all. And if anyone else's 300 mil conversations will stop, this is completely unreasonable to correlate a 1.5 mil merit per player versus hundreds million of mana and deads. Please speak internally in our leadership chats and come with an appropriate. So let me just say this. Now that I really am thinking about it more, and I'm looking at a lot of the numbers that we've looked at from previous seasons on like the total amount of players that, you know, at least hit 10 mil merits, I feel like I am starting to align more with IMFS and Jason's viewpoint on this, because I mean, look, let's just do a very simple look, right? Like let's do a simple thing, right? We have some stats. Let's just look at last season. Let's look at SOS 14. Oh, sorry. Let's look at, well, sorry, no, 15 actually would be from last season, excuse me. So let's look at last season, right? And how many people hit at least 10 mil merits from top teams, right? So you got 91 players hitting at least 10 mil merits. Now, we'd have to go and look what they did. Actually, we can do this. Where's my scout account? Watch. Let's go look at this real quick. So let's look at, actually, let's look at this. Let's look at YSS 357, because they should still have their merit numbers. And we can actually look at a couple kingdoms real quick to see how many players they had that, let's just say, were over a mil merits. Like, let's put a really conservative number on it and look at the total number that they got, just to try and sell the point, right? So here we go. So let's look, I'm gonna widen this up a bit for us. So we're in 357, let's look at the numbers. Okay, so here's merit numbers, right? Let's scroll down, I wanna see. So let's look at 200 players. Here you go. So the comment here, and this is a very easy way to figure this out. If the comment here was 1.5 mil merits per player at around 200 players, personally, I think really what it should have been was 3 mil, right? I think they really halved themselves if you're talking about 200. Now, if you go up a little bit more and you look at 192, you go up 8 positions, and now what are you at? You're at a 12 million merit average per player, which is probably a very low number. So when Jason makes it, and this is in YSS themselves, like the data's there for you to see. Why didn't anyone just go take a look at this and say, well, look at what you performed last season? You know, why would you say, and just generally speaking, why would anyone say 1.5 mil merits per player is fine to go with when it almost looks disrespectfully low, right? Just when you compare YSS themselves. And we're only at 192 players. I mean, there it is, right? Now, if we looked at merits, they got, right, 7.26 bill. Now, we'd have to go and pull some scans up specifically to figure out when they potentially achieved how many merits per season. But I need to have Drew watch this to see if we can really work on that, because I would love to be able to send him scans for when a Zone 2 opens, and then when a Zone 3 opens, so we can calculate the Zone 2, the Zone 3, and the final zone merit production for KvKs per season. Because part of me feels like this kind of data is going to help so much, especially when we can have it publicly available in a transparent way. But yeah, I mean, just looking from this alone, you know, I mean, dear Lord. I mean, let me see, where are they even at, like 20 mil? I mean, that's not even that bad. You got 164 people that hit at least 20 million merits last season. Where are you at 15? Where's 15? So here's some 12s, and then 15 starts at 183. I mean, it's not even unreasonable to probably think that you're probably looking at like a 20 million average merit per player, if not maybe 20, 25. And that might even just be on the low end for 357. So, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. that's interesting to look at. Okay. Let me see what else I have here. Internal, okay, let me see. Oh, I gotta go a little bit further to read the trash comments. Okay, hang on, let me see if I can move the thing here. They're kicked. Where did one go say it was? 4450. Oh. Oh, here it is, hang on. To meet EIS, there's small factors that help towards it, but it revolves around the trades are going because it can easily hurt final zone for us. The trades are good on our side. Has there ever been a KvK where zone 2, zone 3 was counted in the FZ and there was only one ally that was sandwiched between two allies? I mean, yeah, I mean, you're fair. Yeah. I mean, you can also make the argument of not fighting in zone 2, but then everyone else would have to agree not to fight in zone 2, which, I mean, that would probably be hard to do. You're basically saying it would be stupid for us to even play zone 2 and zone 3 and also save our RSS elixir so we have the same chance of end of season like you do. Yeah, I mean, there you go. I mean, Vico said it. Yeah, he just said it. If the trades are not going well as determined, but not stupid to try and take good trades. If you're talking about good trades, it's great. No way to accurately give merit totals. Money back. Talking now. It's the stream chat. Oh, in the stream chat, you can see Jark trying to do his. Oh, I see. That's why you said 4450. Hang on. Oops, I went too far. Hang on. Timestamp for the trash comments. Where? Oh, it's in the stream chat. I gotta keep going, or I gotta let it play for a sec. Ghost says it in the actual Discord. You just read over it. Oh, I did. Oh, here it is. I think we are done with the talking now. Come talk. I'm already pissed off with this effing trash. Oh, jeez. I mean, I don't know if he's calling him trash. He could have just been referring to the situation as trash. That very well could have been what it was, and not specifically saying that, you know, someone. I don't know if I would go as far as take, just because to me that's not incredibly clear. Maybe you could interpret. I just don't think it's clear enough to where you would take that. Oh, you said English is also not his first language. Okay, well, I mean, there you go. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that seems like it is. You know what I do want to do? I do at one point want to read through some of the chat. Oh crud, where's the chat? I don't even know how I turn the chat on now. I'll have to figure out how to do that at some point. But yeah, that seems like that'll be you'll see Guns' reaction and count. Oh, Gavin says that's definitely how it reads. Being go 43 and go to 43:15. And I have to play the video. Okay, let me see. Hang on. Okay, I gotta put my headphones on for this. Okay.
Since we will have a good tell on what the KvK is shaping up to be. I mean, that's true, bro. Search trash. Yeah, what's the what's search trash? Okay, so you're calling me trash now.
Oh, this is where he comments on it.
Okay, Warland says to me EOS boils down to final zone, not zone 2, not zone 3. Ooh, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that of what Warland said there. Okay, because it very much boils down to every single zone, okay? Because each zone carries a specific amount of morale. Anyone who's played this game long enough can tell you. Although zone 2 or zone 3 don't directly impact what happens in Dragon Zone, it very much so impacts the fact of how much you drain your enemy and also morale. Okay, those two things are a very big factor that ultimately can definitely shape up Dragon Zone. So for Warland to say that it boils down to final zone and not zone 2 and zone 3 is very inaccurate. Very, very inaccurate.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what I want to do is I honestly would love to just react to, like, I'd love to go and hear Guns' takes and then react to those in maybe a stream tomorrow, just because I've been going almost 2.5 hours here, and I definitely want to get I need to get my kiddos to bed. I'll react to this one. This will be the last one I react to. Or sorry, this will be the only one I react to for now, because I really would love to go through the stream. I want to hear what Guns said. I want to listen to what Jason said. I want to be able to read some of the chat comments, because like there's so much juicy stuff here that I would love to react to. What I will say for this though is that the difference, I think, between Guns' view and my view is that I can see it from both sides. And I don't mean saying like I can see it like he can't. I just mean I see it. I personally view it from both sides. I get what he's saying when he says, right, it boils down to FZ. It's not zone 2 and zone 3. right? Which he's not wrong. You can also say that he is right. And both can be true. Let me say that first. Both can be true. On one side, ultimately what is going to decide who wins a season is who wins Final Zone. That's undeniable. It doesn't matter how well you perform in Zone 2, or if you 50-50, or if you lose, but then you have this amazing comeback in Final Zone. Like, what ultimately determines it is who gets pushed out, who controls Dragon at the end. Now, yes, you can say that if you do fight, and that's where the if part comes in, if you fight, because Zone 2s and Zone 3s are not necessarily guaranteed fighting in every single KvK. Some KvKs they are, some they're not. It also depends on if that kingdom is going to opt and give you fights. What if they don't give you fights? What if they deny you fights? There are some factors. So on a general level, I agree, because it just makes sense that the Final Zone is the end all be all. And I think that's probably more of what he was saying. I don't think it was really about, disregarding Zone 2 or Zone 3 and making it seem like those zones are insignificant. Because on the other hand, Guns is right, where if you fight it out in a Zone 2, if you fight it out in a Zone 3, then yes, you are now susceptible to either boosting morale or being demoralized. You're able to gain momentum or lose momentum. You can have people become more excited or maybe less excited depending on how that Zone 2 or Zone 3 plays out. So absolutely, there are a number of psychological effects that can be applied and can factor into depending on how a Zone 2 or Zone 3 plays out. So I agree as well on that. I think for me, I'm trying to look at it from both sides, where I don't necessarily agree wholeheartedly with one or the other, but I also can agree to their individual points because it makes sense what they're saying. I don't think like this is some, hot take or out of pocket, so to speak. Bonkai says, honestly, no problem. This drama fight Zone 2, then delete the game afterwards. I mean, literally Dark, the one, told him to search trash, using it as an excuse for this entire thing. Counts of most YSS players only got a screenshot of the trash comment with no context and told that it's the reason why this entire thing is happening. Oh, really? Well, see, in that case, I wonder who sent that, though. Well, let me say, if that's true, who took the screenshot, who sent that, who was pushing that narrative? That because that would be something too there. Oh God. Well, all right, fam. Listen, I think I'm gonna cut it early here on this one. Gavin said the fence sitter. I think I'm going to cut it early on this one. I got to go walk the dog, got to put my kiddos down and tidy up a little bit more before the lady gets back. But I will say this. My plan tomorrow is going to be to stream again. And we actually might be able to sit in with Vital, who can give us some insight into KvK 5, which is the free-for-all KvK. For those of you who may not know, right, within the top 6 KvKs, KvK 5 basically has been designated as a free-for-all, right? That's what we've heard. And Vital is one of the kings there for one of the kingdoms. He was told me he was willing to come on and to give us a little bit of a 411 and an update on the KvK 5, how it played out, what are his thoughts on that. And then I also want to make some time so we can watch the stream, because I want to be able to react to some things that Guns, Jason said I want to hear what they had to say, along with, like we said, reading chat, and then potentially start updating some of the Zone 2 matchups for the upcoming season, because we got a couple days until that starts. So that's going to be the plan right now for tomorrow. So you can expect me to start streaming then, hopefully earlier potentially as well, maybe around the same time, because I think my lady has to go back. She's still finishing up doing some work at her mom's house. She's like Bob the Buildering it. I think they're like redemoing and remodeling a whole bathroom. So like there's a lot that they're doing over there. But that's the hopeful plan, as long as everything plays out and I'm not pushed back by anything. But as always, right, remember, if you guys want to get updates on when we go live, all you got to do is join the Discord. There's a link to that in the pinned comment description down below, and just head over to reaction roles and you can select the reaction role to get notified for when we have new YouTube videos and or when we stream. And there's also a link to our KvK Analytics website. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Drewski just added the end of season stats, so it'll show you end of season stats. I actually wonder if there's a way maybe we can put something here for mid-season or through season and end of season stats. Maybe there's a way to combine that. I'm going to have to ask him what he thinks about that. If there's something we can do, or if maybe we can do like mid-season stats or seasonal stats, or maybe something like zone 2, zone 3, or like zone stats or something. I don't know. I have to figure out what I want to do with that. And maybe we can split this up, like end of season stats here on the right half and then something else here on the left half. And that basically would be the zone performances for zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, etc. That would be cool. I'll have to see what he thinks about that. But yeah, if you guys want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. Again, everything's been updated. Man, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. What a fun and exciting day. Definitely an unexpected one. But man, there's so much more to cover about this KvK1. I can't wait to break this down further because I feel like there's a lot more to it. With that being said, I will leave you guys to it, man. Hopefully you have a good rest of your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever it might be. As always, thank you guys for hanging out, tuning in with us. And hopefully we'll be back as early as tomorrow evening. We'll catch you guys then. Take care.